What is up, fellas? It is time. What's up? Let's go. We drafting. LFG's in the chat. It is the Listener League live draft. Of course, if you guys are in this league, I'm sure you guys are quite excited. We are going to be drawing the names for the draft order. We do not know where we're drafting from. We've had no, prior preparation of where we're drafting from and any of that kind of nonsense. We are going to be doing the 100-yard rush live on the thing here. Whoever comes in first gets the first pick, so on and so forth, and then we will get this thing kind of cooking. The draft officially begins at 8 p.m., but as soon as we're done this, we will get it popping. So you guys can see the 100-yard rush. These are all the contestants. I'm curious, Chan Hughes, if Brian Hughes and Chan Hughes are related. I'm just curious because they probably are.
Sure.
But anyway, we are going to fire this thing up. Hopefully, Danny's guy can get past the 40-yard line.
Oh, man. Don't get me started. If you guys watched the stream last year, you would know that we randomized right before. I ended up with the 11 pick. My guy legitimately took probably 5 minutes to just reach the 50-yard line. So I guess it's kind of realistic. No, I'm kidding. I was going to say, I guess it's kind of realistic that way. But all jokes aside, though, hopefully my guys have got a proper performance, got a nice pump at the gym. So maybe my guy's feeling a little juiced up right now.
Yes. 69 randomizations for good measures.
Nice.
We shall... Any unlock luck adjustments? No luck adjustments. We just give her.
Rig it.
Yards traveled per rush, speed, fast, I guess.
Should we make it 1 to 6, bro? Because 1 to 10 is so fucking variance.
Yeah, 1 to 6, sure.
Yeah.
And then minutes.
Okay, that.
2. Yeah, sure. That should be fine, right?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's
go, boys. You bastard, you better start fucking running. That's all I care about. By the way, if any of you
Here we go, fellas.
Yep. Let's see what rolls. Okay, my guy's fucking Slat Squatch fucking ripping it.
Oh
buddy,
yeah.
Look at you.
I'm falling at the bottom. Here we go.
Why's your guy dressed like a Buccaneer?
Because I changed I didn't know who everybody's your guys dressed with.
Let's go.
I only knew the favorite teams of myself, you and Brock, so we're the only ones wearing our team colors. Negrin is just hauling ass,
bro. He
man.
is
And
fucking
Danny's
cooking.
hauling now too.
Yeah, wow. You're catching me now. Oh, buddy,
keep going.
It's a tight race.
Dark side Rob sneaking. Okay, I'm hauling now.
I think Hobbs had a burrito or two. Oh,
okay,
no, it's Shan now. Oh my God,
we
are fucking. Oh yeah.
Oh, Danny just shred. Go.
No, please. Give me Janice. Give me Janice, please. Yeah.
Oh, Danny with the first pick. Dude, if I pick fourth, I'm going to snap.
Hey.
Oh, my God. I picked fourth in this league, too, for fuck's sakes.
For those of you watching at home with a drink on deck, salute. We got some Bacardi and Coke celebrating a nice Justin Jefferson at the first overall pick, baby.
Oh, that's fucking horrible. I picked fourth again. Oh, I hate it.
Man.
Hate every second of it. Well, I guess I can switch up my exposure. I'm gonna take Bijan in my home league. I guess I'm going Tyreek or something here.
I promised someone I'd give a flex on stream if I got first. So
yeah. Okay. So leave that on the screen for me, Danny. Don't share your screen yet. Just because I need to transcribe the draft order.
Cool. I'll read some comments while you do that. We got Spicy in here. Big hi. Dang, start to get jealous of all these people actually drafting. Yeah, I mean, fucking. We got it rolling. I'm just excited to get into this thing. It's time. It is time there, Leo. It's time. What's up, boys? What's up, Andrew? Would you guys drop Roschon or Damian Harris to pick up Elijah Mitchell in redraft? I absolutely would drop Damian Harris if I had to make the choice between those two, but I would prefer Elijah Mitchell to both.
Yeah, I mean, Roschon's not really working much with the first team, so he's a good stash, but if you needed some production, I don't hate going with Damian Harris there.
By the way, Butch, does this change anything in your home league if you get Bijan in this league?
Honestly, it'll allow me to kind of diversify. That's actually not a terrible outcome for me, to be honest, because I can kind of just diversify who I pick now. There
we go. Let's go. We draft them, boys. Yes, sir. Sir King Jared in the house. Let's fucking go. We got Henry Mudo, the OG in the chat in the house as well. Shout out. Is it worth taking Kelsey?
By the way, some people were like, "Is this dynasty or redraft?" We'll go over the rules as the draft is starting because there is some janky like stuff that we put into this league for sure. So
Oh yeah. Well, there's point for those of you that are curious about the specific settings: 3 wide receivers, 2 flexes, full PPR league, 6 points per passing touchdown. So the quarterbacks are obviously an advantage here. And we did make it because I mean we have a lot of wide receiver piss boys in this draft that would probably rip just 0 and 0 RBs. We did add an incentive of 0.25 rushing first downs or total first downs for running backs. Correct?
Yeah, the actual league settings are linked in the description of the video. So if you want to see them there, 12 team PPR, 2 running backs, 3 wide receiver, 2 flex, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end. Big play bonuses. So you get an extra point for 40+ yard completions if you're a quarterback, receptions if you're a running back or wide receiver, and rushes if you're a running back or a wide receiver. 6 point per passing touchdown. So the quarterback position definitely juiced up a little bit, even though it's a 1 quarterback league. And then, like Danny said, 0.25 per first downs of any kind for running backs only. So receiving and rushing first downs last year, Christian McCaffrey led the league. He would have had basically an extra like 2.5 PPR points per game or 1.8 or something. I can't remember the exact mathematics behind it, but yeah, the draft order is now set. We should be able to get right into this draft. Should I wait until 8 p.m. or should I just give her?
We should wait at least a few minutes. We'll catch up on some comments in the meantime, I would say, just to make sure everybody's fully in the lobby. I mean, I could pull up the draft room right now just to make sure everybody's online, but we do see like half the league's not online yet. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't see it.
Yeah, I just put that all like this if you're ready to start in the chat. So everybody's when everybody's good. We are live on YouTube as well for those of you guys that are checking us out here. I'm going to be dropping the StreamYard link to our Leaguemates as well. So when they make a pick or whatever, if we want to swap them in, be like, hey, what were you thinking there, kind of thing. We've done that in years past, so we will drop that in. People will be kind of backstage. For those of you guys that are listening to this that are in the league and you have no idea how it's going to work or whatever. You'll be backstage for a little bit and then we'll, kind of pull you in after you've made a pick or something like that. So you won't be like on the stream the entire time because that would get way too chaotic. And me and Danny would probably have no idea how to like run this thing.
Quick note, grabbing a copy of the cheat sheet just so I can fill it out during this draft. So if you guys are unfamiliar and haven't already accessed our redraft rankings manifesto, it's going to be easy for us.
Yeah. So Danny, you can actually share your screen now because I got the draft order in. Is everybody? So we're missing a couple people online at the moment, but for the most part, we got Tom in the back seat.
Let's go.
Tom, say hi to the crowd here. He's picking from the 111 spot.
I know. I was happy I wasn't fourth.
The worst draft spot possible this year in 2 fucking leagues, of course, right?
Dude, when I seen the 101, my guy was fucking hustling this year. If you guys, again, 150 of you in here, didn't see last year's stream, it was a bunch of, it was both of us just kind of drunk in Buffalo watching my guy absolutely throw.
Yeah. We also got Brock in the background here with Tom back in the back seat. Brock's in the chat here. What's going on? Where's he picking from? 105?
Yes, sir. What you got cooking?
I already know Danny's or Bush is gonna be sniping me on every player I want. So I wanted Bijan, and then Bush got 104, and I got 105. I'm like, fuck this.
I mean, on the bright side, at least in the 3 wide receiver start, you're probably looking at Tyreek or Diggs there. So looking pretty either way. But yeah.
And for what it's worth, I intend to go Bijan in my home league because the rushing incentive is higher than this one because it's a 0.5 instead of a 0.25. So I mean, whoever's picking 103 is probably Nagrin's gonna probably snipe me on Tyreek, but that would be my ideal player there. Otherwise, I'm gonna be in some deep shit here at the 104.
Real quick, I'm gonna quickly share this screen just so you guys know. I literally have right now the cheat sheet open and you guys can see I already checked out Mr. Justin Jefferson on the team. So sorry to spoil the news, but you kind of know where I'm leaning at that first pick.
Yeah, we know you want Justin Jefferson, Danny. You also have a fucking horseshoe up your ass anytime we do goddamn reveals for draft order because I never get 101s. So I'm just gonna be that guy who's all salty in the chat because I never get 101s.
Don't kill me. We got
two auto drafters get the boot. I mean, shit, you guys probably should get the boot if you're auto drafting out here.
If you're auto drafting in the official FSC redraft league for the year, I don't know what to tell you, man, because this is going to be jam packed. It's going to be probably the most competitive league each of us are in. So you better not be auto drafting. I'll just say that.
Yeah. So we got Hoves in the chat here.
Go.
What's going on? Where are you picking from?
Sorry, I didn't get that. What was that?
I said, where are you picking from? 108 here. You
got 8. Right? I'm on 8.
Let's go.
Beauty. Okay,
I'm in vacation mode right now, so I'm waiting to go back out to the pool after the draft.
Dude, that's a fucking vibe, man. I'm kind of.
Yeah,
I mean, I just finished a fucking pump. I wish I could just go to a nice little pool right now.
yeah, that's the deal.
Hey,
Win the
man,
draft and head out.
let's
Pop a
go.
beer or something.
Hey, dude, we got some fucking rum and coke on deck right now, so you know it is.
Hey, cheers.
Hey, cheers.
Awesome. Hopes, we'll check in with you after your first pick. Brian's in his vehicle by the looks of it.
Go.
I am. Just waiting, just waiting. Just primed and ready here.
He's got the phone
How we
pulled
doing,
up, ready
boys?
to make the pick. Not too
Oh
bad.
yeah, you know it.
Okay.
Brian, I gotta ask you, are you and Chan related? You got the same last name.
We do have the same last name. I saw that. No, I don't know who that is, but hey, it worked out. Hopefully he doesn't snipe me too many times. I'll have to strike the Hughes name down. Oh shoot, lost it. Anyway, good luck, fellas.
You too, man. You too.
All right, we got Negrin back in the
Let's
back seat here. Where are you picking? Oh, he's right in front of me. Oh, this is brutal. He's gonna be sniping me left, right, and center.
I was killing you guys in that race to start, and did he pull a hamstring like halfway through?
Bro got Jamison Williams running for him.
Dude,
Oh
my guy in the second 50 yards literally just I don't know, maybe took some HGH or something in the halfway point, but he just fucking started rolling.
If it was like a 50-yard dash, I would have got the first and second overall pick at that rate. Man, that was tough. But yeah, I'm getting Tyreek Hill if it falls to me. Sorry.
I respect it. So at least Bush knows what he's gonna get.
Oh yeah, fuck. I guess I might just gonna have. I guess I gotta live and die by the Bijan take, huh? Am I just gonna be just taking him in every?
If it was 104, I would have taken Bijan. But I can't get CMC after the conversation we had in the group chat. I'm not into that.
Oh yeah, I kind of labeled whoever took CMC as a certain demographic.
Yeah, we'll keep that between us in the group chat.
Yeah, whoever every NFL game, yeah, you took care of them.
Pound sand, pal.
Yeah, there's fucking sand eater in the chat for real.
Yeah, facts. All right, Negrid, we'll check in with you after you inevitably take Tyreek Hill over me and make my.
We'll see. I might get nervous.
Whole exposure to Bijan. I'm literally just gonna have to buy a jersey at this point. So
we'll get you one if you win. We'll chip in.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I will, dude. I honestly that would make fantasy fun for me this year if I live and die by the Bijan take. That'd be kind of fun.
We do have a couple comments, so we'll get to that and then fucking rip it off. Is it worth taking Kelsey at 6 or 7, then taking Mahomes next? I personally have Kelsey a little bit ranked lower, but I don't think that's a terrible strategy. Honestly, if you're planning on the stack, I would rather be doing it taking Kelsey early than Mahomes early. So of course, if that's Kelsey in the late first, Mahomes in the late second, I'd prefer to take Kelsey earlier and get Mahomes later, simply because you would have a better third round pick to buoy the team. And we kind of talked about in videos, the stark difference between the early thirds this year versus the late thirds, pretty much night and day. Unless Calvin Ridley's a shoe in to fall on you, the late third's kind of ugly this year. So
yeah, it's not. That's the thing with Jefferson that's a little sketchy. If you're playing with a bunch of tacos, it can be a great spot to draft from. But if you're in a sharp draft room, the stuff can kind of dry up at the end. So we'll see kind of how Danny's looking at the 2-3 turn there.
Yes, sir. So Henry, yep, correct. It is a redraft league. Let me just look through if there's any.
The fellas are saying that they want a 2-minute clock. I'm a man of the people. I put it to 1.5 minutes. So the stream wouldn't be too long, but hell, I mean, this is gonna be a long stream anyway. I will put it to 2 minutes. Maybe towards the later rounds, we'll move it down to 1.5 just to speed things up. But I want to give everybody time to think through their picks and that kind of shit.
Appreciate that, Paxton. I had the greasy beard for too long. Once Manscaped sent in the beard trimmer, it was time to make a little change to the facial hair.
I just saw this comment. We did do this listener league last year. We've done it 3 years now in a row. I won the first league, and then Dr. Brian Harris won the second league. Ironically, Brian, who's still in the back seat, I believe here. I thought BH888 was Brian Harris from last year. I was like, oh, Brian's in the league again. That makes sense because he came in second last year, and he actually didn't win it. Sorry, did I just say he won it? Flett actually won the league. He came in second place, so.
I think they called each other co-champs because technically, of course, the week 17 incident, which, I mean, it's fair because obviously nobody can predict that. But yeah, oddly enough, my team last year was pretty freaking dominant. I had literally 150 more points than everyone. And just like Danny fashion, I fucking stunk an egg in the semifinal because Devontae Smith, George Kittle, whoever the fuck it was, absolutely blistered me.
Yeah, I had an unintentional 0 RB that I ran last year because Javonte Williams decided to blow his knee out. So that's what happened. That's what happened to me in the listener league last year. But I actually still like managed to tread water at a pretty good team. I had a Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, AJ Brown 3-stack of wide receivers. So my receivers were pretty good. I had no running backs. Like I literally was starting like waiver wire ads every week because my whole Rashad Penny, Javonte Williams, all those guys got injured.
Yep. Well, speaking of the draft, let's get right into it because it is 8 p.m.
It is 8 p.m. Let's do it. We're starting the draft, fellas. No auto drafts or you are absolutely fired. Like no questions asked.
Should I auto draft? No, I'm kidding. Let's do that real quick. Pour another drink.
Danny's doing his efforts to speed up the draft clock. We definitely appreciate those because I am absolutely fiending. We have a Jamar Chase Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase 101, 102. Pretty bog standard here. It looks like your boy is living and dying by the Bijan Robinson sword this year because this will not deter me from drafting him in my home league as well because this league is a 0.25 per running back first downs. My home league is a 0.5 per running back first downs. Maybe, I don't know, maybe if I'm feeling like a absolute cuck and want to diversify my portfolio, I will go for Tyreek Hill in my home league, but I don't know. I'm feeling a little dangerous this year. I think I might have to live and die by the Bijan sword.
I don't mind the take. So we did say we would get Negrin back in here after the Tyreek Hill. How do you feel about taking Tyreek one spot out of Bijan for Corey?
As a Patriots fan, I don't want to root for the Dolphins, but I also said I was going to start doing like backups for every first down, considering our new rules. So I don't really know what to do. I'm a degenerate at this point.
I respect it.
We're just having fun with it. I mean, this is my first Tyreek Hill share in like any league, so I guess we'll figure it out.
I mean, it's fun to own a guy that could literally change a matchup on one freaking target. So
or get suspended next week. We don't know.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, hopefully he stays away from the marina.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're rooting for that. Diggs falling to 6. I mean, we'll take it.
Yeah, that's a solid value there for Slide.
We got Hoves on the clock here, so we'll put Negrin back in the back seat. We're gonna get a live tilt on the clock here from Hoves.
Let's see it. Who is it?
The 108 is an interesting spot. You got a lot of Kelsey goes off the board, Diggs. We got a Cooper Kupp sighting at the 108. Brock, we'll get you in here in a second because you took Christian McCaffrey at the 105. Hoves, how you feeling?
Kupp's my boy, triple crown king. Not the happiest with what I wanted. I was looking for Kelsey, Diggs, or Robinson, and didn't come through. So gotta go with my boy Kupp. I think he's got it. I'm just not trusting Eckler this year. He's too old for my liking.
Hey, you just sounding like an FSE stand to the finest, so I appreciate that.
Yep.
Yeah, we are ageist as hell here. And Tom just made a CeeDee Lamb pick here at the end of the first round. Going to be back on the clock here shortly as well. What do you got?
Yeah, I would have taken. Well, I think you know who I'm taking here. So
let's see it. So we do see Chan going with Amon-Ra and Garrett. So I'm assuming it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm second guessing because we got the first downs. There's a guy I like for first downs, but
let me guess, Nick Chubb.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my my Nick Chubb there.
I respect it.
I know we have 5 wide receivers, but I can't just pass on the value there.
It can't be any worse than last year where we're staring down the barrel come round 5, and I think Gabe Davis was like the best receiver left because 30.
So yeah, I mean, definitely Adams was in strong consideration there for me, but we'll see if Bryant scoops him up.
Amen.
Awesome. Let's get Brock here. He's going to defend his Christian McCaffrey at 105. For what it's worth, in this format, Christian McCaffrey led all running backs in first downs, and it actually wasn't even particularly close last year because he had 40 through the air and he had another 72 or something on the ground. So a nice boost to McCaffrey as a dual threat guy.
Yeah, I think I made the right choice because I was actually considering, I trust underdog ADP about more than anything. And I was considering Kelsey there for a potential Kelsey Mahomes because with 6-point passing touchdown, that's a stack people take on underdog. I'd gladly take that on here with an even boost to the quarterback. Mahomes went, so I'm happy with the pick playing into that 0.25 premium. It was him or Diggs, and it was like, I have a shit ton of Diggs. I don't have a lot of McCaffrey. And I was like, I'll diversify the portfolio on a $50 buy-in. That's a good idea.
I respect that. I respect that. Yeah, I mean, like in this format in particular, an underdog, you're not getting the benefit of the receiving first downs, of the rushing first downs. At least if you're going to take a CMC at the 5th overall pick, which is about his value to begin with, you may as well do it in the format where he's literally a cheat code if he does, hit that ceiling range of outcome. So I definitely like that pick there.
Yeah, no doubt. So Brian, back here in the draft goes with a Saquon Barkley, Patty Mahomes start to it. I mean, the 2-3 Mahomes, I don't blame you, dude. 6-point passing touchdowns, big play bonuses. Doesn't matter who he's throwing to. He's going to have 40+ completions every single game.
Exactly. Well, I mean, realistically, I really wanted to go Chubb with the double hero RB because of the first down bonus. But once Chubb was gone, I didn't really want AJ Brown. I'm just not here for it. Even though this is going to be receiver heavy, we all know that with the ability to start 5. I'd just rather go with Mahomes with the 6-point touchdowns and be set there.
I respect it. I do think once you get to the mid first round area where you're at, I mean, a little early for me personally, just because of Adams, but
for sure,
I do think that once you get to that early, the mid third, I would say 2-3 to like the 208 area, it becomes enticing. I mean, if you're going to take it, you may as well take it in a league where you're getting 6-point passing touchdowns and the guy's going to throw 40-45, assuming he stays
exactly.
Healthy. So yeah, I like the pick.
Exactly. I mean, I've done plenty of underdog drafts, right? And Mahomes, Hurts, Allen are all going 2-3 turn. So it's a little early, right? But by the time I come back around, I don't have an option to get any of the 3 of them. And then 6-point touchdown, it seemed like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I respect it.
We are not capitulating to the wide receiver avalanche because you guys you done fucked up. You let me get Josh Allen here at the 2 now. I don't care. I literally I'm going to be fucked at wide receiver because I started running back and quarterback. I don't care because I am not passing on Josh Allen for Calvin Ridley, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith. I just can't do it.
I don't blame you. And I'll tell you right now, I literally said it in the chat. I kind of like willed the 101 into existence. I said, I'll just say it right now. If I'm picking at 101 and you leave me the option of starting Justin Jefferson, Tony Pollard, and Josh Allen, y'all done fucked up. So good to see you guys are sharp enough not to let Pollard or Josh Allen fall back to me. Because if I got both those guys on this team or even one of them, it would be a pretty big avalanche for you guys come season time.
Yeah, there was no chance that was going to happen, dude. I figured that Hurts would be off the board too, and it looks like Nagrin goes with Hurts there. We see him grab himself an elite quarterback, and all the top 3 guys. I mean, we talk about it like home leagues, late round quarterback and stuff. These guys are just simply built different, and Danny is just getting cucked left and right, and I love to see it because he pulled a 101, and now he's at a fucked spot, and I love it.
I wanted to take Josh Allen so bad, and of course you got me back and sniped you right there. And also, I have to plug no Gabe Davis hate. I went to UCF myself. So, go Knights. He's going to have a great year this year. I was actually hoping to get Josh Allen and then Gabe Davis in a later round just to prove everyone wrong.
I respect it. Oh, now I'm in actually a tough bind here because, I mean, I'm looking down the barrel of T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf, of course, at wide receiver. There's one guy I think I'm for sure going to take, but in a 3 wide receiver star format, it is tough if I want to go with a running back or with a receiver here, but.
To JP's question, I mean, he's got the 101, only a 1 running back start, 5 wide receiver a week. I mean, Danny's going to probably give you a pretty good representation of how that's going to look for you, even though it's a slightly different format. I mean, the wide receivers are going to be flying off the board fast and furious, I'd imagine, in this draft.
Yeah. I'm actually in a tricky spot. So I'm going to go with Mark Andrews with one of the picks. And now I'm stuck with the first down format. If I want to take Josh Jacobs, who would be my highest rated running back, or if I want to go at the wide receiver position and reach down for a T. Higgins, Devontae Smith type. You know what? I guess I'll be the taco that does take Josh Jacobs. I'll get him on this team. I do think the first down bonuses does lean him pretty heavily here.
Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense there. I think you could realistically make the argument for any one of the running backs available on the board between Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, or any of the other guys there because, I mean, as much as the wide receiver position is going to fly off the board, these guys that get potentially 300 touches a season kind of do have a leg up in this type of format where you're getting all of the third and short work. Normally we hate that shit for fantasy because it's not relevant, but in a 0.25 for first downs, Jacobs and Henry and Jonathan Taylor, anytime their team's in a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1, they're getting the football.
It's going to be gross. We're going to have a situation where somebody's up 0.17 and Josh Jacobs is grinding down the clock. It's 3rd and 1. each of us on each of our sides respectively are going to be watching the TV, just praying he doesn't get that conversion and end up winning the game. It's going to happen at some point this week. It might not, of course, be with me and Josh Jacobs. Could be with, you and Bijan Robinson or whoever running back falls down. So we're just getting sniped left, right, and center because everybody in here sharp.
Oh my God, Negrin, dude, you're killing me, man. I got to take a running back. I can't take a wide receiver, dude. The tier drop off is just so stark at this point. Higgins was the last guy that I was okay with. And of course he's fucking gone. So, I mean, for me, I got to go with either Henry or Taylor. I mean, of course we have like 2 hours before this draft. We have a report that like Jonathan Taylor's got permission to seek a trade now. I'm already being a high T fucking, tone setter drafting Bijan and Josh Allen. We're going to get as high T as it possibly gets. And I'm going to take, of course, you guys know I'm not about to take an old running back. I'm taking Jonathan Taylor. I'm leaning into the uncertainty. And I'll get last year's 101 at the 304 all day of the week in a point, first down format where this guy is going to get the ball on the goal line and in short yardage situations all the time.
Yeah, I definitely don't mind that. If I were to take a different running back, I saw a couple mentions in the chat to take Derrick Henry. I just simply think I would prefer the youth in that report. So for me personally, I'd have Josh Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor ahead of him. But if you want to take Derrick Henry, I'm not going to fight you on it. But I do agree that with these running backs, like typically they're gross. Like you don't want to take them in like a normal PPR 3 wide receiver 2 flex league. But when you're getting bonuses for first downs, like you got to also think about coaching tendencies. If you're taking, the starting running back for a Patrick Mahomes Chiefs led team, they're mostly going to throw the ball on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2 type of situations. I will say when it comes down to it, and we're looking down the barrel of me having Josh McDaniels and Josh Jacobs, I'm pretty happy with that. And of course, we know Jonathan Taylor, what he's able to do in short yardage situations as well. So a little out of bonus if we're going to have the high T starts, which apparently we're fraud 0 RB bros because we're the high T guys of this draft, including Brock too, who's usually a 0 RB guy, which we'll bring in.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
if I wasn't an absolute moron, I probably would have gone with like, Stephon Diggs or something at 104. I knew this was going to happen. We all knew this was going to happen, even despite the, addendum that we made to the rules like 20 minutes before the draft started, where we're going to literally all be just chasing wide receivers if we don't do something to help the running back position. So, but yeah, Brock, how you feeling? You got a Chris Olave, D Henry turn there with the 2-3.
I feel like I kind of picked at the top of a tier with Chris Olave. I was absolutely praying, like doing dances out here that A.J. Brown was going to be there, because if I got A.J. Brown, that would have been so much better. When he got taken, I was like, it was between him or Ridley or Josh Allen. And I thought, this board is going to be pissing blue, so I need to take a wide receiver. So I took Chris Olave, who I think has a little bit of a safer projection. And Ridley, though, was the upside play, and I was deciding between those two.
I respect it. Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, man, we're starting to see the running backs come off now, which we expected. But man, if A.J. Brown had fallen to the 2.8, like 2.7 already is like the lowest I have ever seen him. So the fact of the matter is, you guys are really a wide receiver heavy thus far. I did expect A.J. Brown to go higher, but I do understand the selections that went ahead of him.
Yeah, for sure. Negrin just fucking cucking me again with T. Higgins there. I get the end of the tiers pretty much, it seems, with the wide receiver position. Brock was in a position kind of the same spot where he had to take the guy at the top of a tier. Yeah. I could have gone with, a Debo or a Metcalf or something like that. Just to me, it's too early. T. Higgins was the last guy I wanted.
Y'all put out too much content like right before things like this. And I would have got Devontae Smith because I wanted the stack. So, I mean, like, it just all kind of avalanched back to you. I don't know.
I actually thought about taking Devontae Smith just because he sniped me on Jalen Hurts, but then I'm like, objectively from a projectable standpoint, like I can't physically take him over Josh Jacobs. So that's kind of where I got to. I did not want to take Josh Jacobs, but I mean, this room's too sharp. I kind of had to bite the bullet there.
I guess like I'm the villain already. We just met with my hood up and everything. Like I'll get used to it.
I respect it.
You got the villain look right now. Shady could have solved all of this by just taking Jonathan Taylor or Derrick Henry. Then you get Devontae Smith, I get T. Higgins, and everybody's happy.
Yeah, but that's not how it works.
So he's the real villain here.
Yeah,
for sure. Got a quick super chat we'll quickly get into from Bobcat. He says, is Aiden O'Connell worth a stash of my taxi spot? 3 spots in a Dynasty Superflex format. Now, I think it fully depends how big your bench is. If it's a shallower bench, I just don't really want to roster a guy like Aiden O'Connell. But I see some Dynasty leagues where you got like 15, 18, 20 bench spots. And at that point, if you don't have a better stashing option, if you want to put O'Connell on there, he's looked good in the preseason. I know Bush, he graded highly for you in your Tell the Tape series. And we know how volatile Jimmy G is in terms of his job status long term. So if Aiden O'Connell impresses, maybe Jimmy G misses a couple games this year, Aiden O'Connell steps in, maybe looks like a Brock Purdy, which I think is in the range of outcomes given the style of play that he has. I don't mind having him, especially in deep performance, like I mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, he had some traits. He was interesting. He was a guy that actually had an ability to deliver the ball accurately, which is like, I mean, it doesn't seem like you're asking much when you say just be an accurate quarterback, but realistically, day 3 quarterbacks most of the time aren't. So Aiden O'Connell being an accurate quarterback, him and Jake Haener were 2 of the guys I think I was most impressed with of the like day 3 caliber guys, because they had some ability to move a little bit and they were both pretty accurate in college, which is, again, when you're looking for backup quarterback archetypes, that's about kind of the bar. It's just be accurate and maybe move a little bit.
I mean, speaking of like the accuracy issue, we even see it still applying to Trey Lance. Like, I love Trey Lance, but man, I'm getting fucking even more nervous by the day.
Trey Lance.
Well,
it's clear that nobody else does.
I mean, I'm starting to get, of course, lower on him comparatively, but seeing JT O'Sullivan tweet out the fact that he missed like an easy fucking read in his second season. Like, I get it, he doesn't have experience, but you follow JT O'Sullivan on Twitter? He basically broke down the Lance tape and he said, like, guys, like, this is ugly at this point. If he's not getting the starting reps right now, like, is he ever going to be fucking ready? Because he's missing easy progressions. Like, that's nerve-wracking, man.
Definitely. Yeah. He was a young player coming out of school. He only had 1 year of starting experience and he hasn't played pretty much at all in the NFL. He's still essentially a rookie when it comes to like a reps perspective. We have Tom actually on the clock here. Let's see.
Go.
We'll get a live tilt Joe Burrow pick. Are you a Bengals fan? You told me you're in Ohio, right? Or am I making that up?
No. I'm in LA, but I know Mr. Bengal over here at 1012. That's not making it back to me. And it's his logo. I never play with the dude, but I feel like that's a giveaway. I knew he wasn't probably coming back. And, the elite onesie, as you already talked about, I think it's great value. And same with Chubb. I'm just taking the value on my board. Certainly have other players I would probably prefer to have, frankly. And we just saw him and so I think we know he's maybe probably upset there. So
well, I was gonna say he didn't insta pick right off the bat, so I can tell you probably irked him a little bit. I mean, Chan's in here right now. We can literally just get you guys beefing on the clock.
Nah, man.
Here, hold on. Let me get the super off the screen so we can get them both on here.
Let's get them both on. Let's hear it.
And I think my player is still going to come back to me, so I love it.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
The funny thing about that picture, everybody assumes that I drafted my home league 4 years ago, and I put Joe Burrow as my picture because I drafted him. Not my guy. I was Lamar all the way. I was hoping he didn't take Lamar.
Okay. No, I mean, I have Lamar maybe better on a 4-point, but I'm with you, man.
You know, it's funny, actually, you mentioned, so you're picking at the 111 right now. In my home league, literally my start was CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, and fucking Joe Burrow in a row. So means like you're probably doing something right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this one may surprise you guys. I know you guys are lower on him than consensus and others, but
the Najee Harris pick?
No, it's Keenan Allen, 100%, isn't it?
Honestly, I debated Keenan Allen at the 311, to be honest. It depends. It really depends, right? Amari Cooper, if you think Elijah Moore is going to have a good season, and maybe Njoku, I'm fading him a little bit. I know you guys have him higher, but that's just how I'm doing my board here.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to take Amari for a second, and I was going to say, if you took Amari Cooper, 3 of your first 4 selections would literally be identical to my home league in a 6-point passing touchdown, 3 wide receiver, 2 flex.
Yeah. I believe in Elijah Moore and Njoku. That's kind of my tiebreaker, but I like both of them. And
you're speaking to the choir right now.
I know. We'll see who makes it back to you guys here.
Hey, man, I'm a little bit nervous.
The answer is no good wide receivers.
I was going to say, I don't even think
indication.
Man.
Yeah, I don't even think DJ Moore. You might get a bad offense. I know you love that, Bush.
Dude, I know I'm going to be staring the barrel of like, do I take Terry McLaurin and invest in the Falcons, Colts, and Washington Commanders for my fantasy season? Gonna be a little bit yikes here. Hopefully, like I also like Danny's just gonna be like, don't take Jerry Jeudy, and of course I'm not going to because he's pissed.
Yes. I will take him, and he's going to drop 30 PPR points on your face into the playoffs weeks. So,
oh my God, Drake London may make it back to you, but that's you're pretty all in on your bets. You know, you want to stack your bets, right?
Oh yeah. No, if London comes back to me, it'll be probably pretty hard to pass on him because the rest of the wide receiver position's getting pretty yucky.
Yeah,
I'm not a Hopkins guy this year personally, but
I
love the player. Don't get me wrong.
Quick note, by the way, let me speaking of London, by the way, he goes right off the board.
Dark side Rob is just like, I guess I'll just take him.
Well, I was just gonna say, Shady Sands, I am so sad. You must have watched the sleeper video where we literally talked about Calvin Ridley today, because I was licking my chops thinking about a Jefferson Andrews Ridley turn, and my dreams just got shattered a pick away from me. So shout out for you for making a sharp pick, because I was honestly thinking I had full reign on Ridley there.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, do I have to take Christian Watson, Terry McLaurin, or DJ Moore with my next pick? Like, I need somebody from a decent offense, man.
I mean, Kenneth Walker is the value on the board right now.
Yo, you're back in on Joe Mixon. Come on.
No, I'm never back in on Joe Mixon. That's never going to happen.
Hey, shout out for you guys for not taking him so far, because I swear, like every other like redraft league, he's going at the 3-4 turn. And I'll tell you right now, right off the bat, this might be a little bit of draft intel, and Shady Sands is going to get a lot from it. But if you're targeting Joe Mixon, Shady Sands, just don't take him at the 4-11, because I sure as hell won't have that 4-5 turn.
I mean, at some point, though, he's valued.
Go ahead. Sorry, Tom.
Well, I was going to say, you gave, and maybe you could post it later, but the first downs, he was 8th in first downs last year. So I'm not saying you want him, but
definitely don't.
My feeling right now, knowing I have no wide receivers, it's like I just got a text that says, like, we need to talk. Like, that's the feeling I got in my stomach right now. Like, I got a we need to talk type feeling going on with the lack of the avalanche it's fallen and I'm fucked. Like, there's just nobody in the vicinity that I actually want to draft. This is why the 104 is the worst absolute spot to pick from, because you can get really fucked out of these tier breaks, because most of I knew this was going to happen. AJ Brown, Waddle, Adams, Wilson, those guys were going to be off the board. Don't want to go wide receiver in that position. Got to go best player available. I figured Higgins, Smith, or Ridley, one of them would fall to me, but that didn't happen either. So I'm on the board here, and it's looking pretty gross. I'm not going to lie. Tight end position, like, I mean, do I want to go TJ Hawkinson here and just fucking say fuck you to the wide receivers? Like, I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
Bush is going to take TJ Hawkinson and then draft 6 straight wide receivers. Sorry, my mic went crazy high there for the record.
Oh my God.
I would have skipped you guys both if I took Cooper and Keenan too.
I can't stand this board. I've never hated a board more.
It's disgusting, bro. I'm scared for that 4-5 turn, man. Like, I don't want to be seeing the top ranked players in ADP as Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker, and fucking TJ Hawkinson, man. Ryan wants you to take TJ Hawkinson.
Highest ceiling option in terms of his offense getting a lot better, in my opinion, is DJ Moore. So I'm going to go with DJ Moore as my wide receiver 1. I'm probably going to really fill out this wide receiver core with known good offenses already, but this is my one risk that I'm taking. Hey, you know what? If the Falcons, Colts, and Bears are the breakout offenses of 2023, which is probably a 0% chance that all 3 of those bets hit, then I might be in a decent spot. Or hell, maybe Bijan and JT are just volume plays. Who knows?
Ryan's booing you. Or Rylan, sorry. My apologies for mispronouncing the name. He's booing you in the chat. He wanted TJ.
God damn it. I think this is Dark Side Rob, I think is what he said. This was his YouTube name. I want to get Hoves in the chat here, because he hasn't spoken for a little bit here. What do we got with his last couple picks? We got Jahmyr Gibbs, Amari Cooper, 3-4 turn. How you feeling?
Start.
I think I like it. I'm pretty big on the Lions this year. I got a lot of future bets on them, so I had to kind of go with Jahmyr Gibbs, and if I'm gonna be right on my futures, I might as well be right on Gibbs. Plus, I don't know, maybe the first down plays, the advantage might be helpful. I have no idea. But with Pollard, if you counted up his first downs and you just take up half of Elliott's first downs, he's like number 1 or number 2 on the list. So I don't know. I think I might have taken a little early, but I think it was good value. I didn't want him over. I didn't want AJ Brown over Pollard. I don't know. So
Bro,
went with Pollard.
like, I personally would have preferred AJ, but in the point per first down type of format, like, he stole my 15th overall player in a normal PPR setting. And I mean, it just kind of sounds like you watched a little bit of the True Series. The fact that he was averaging only 21 PPR points per game, week 7 on, with Zeke there.
Yeah.
Oh man, like
He's a
254
stud.
vacated touches there.
He's a stud.
Oh, I'm
He's a
excited,
stud.
man.
Yeah,
Excited for this Cowboys offense, baby.
Let's see what you're gonna do with your 4-5 turn.
I'm a little nervous, man. I was actually I'm not sure if you saw my reaction go like that, but I was praying there. Negrin did not snipe me on Christian Watson, and of course Mike Williams would go with the next fucking pick. This is crazy. I'm gonna have to
Shady's choosing violence right now.
You were saying you wanted Mike Will in your in the chat today earlier, right? No wonder you got sniped.
I mean, he's a guy I have ranked well ahead of this spot. Usually you'll see him at the 5-6 turn, but not in an FSE room. You guys are too sharp. So really like what you're building there with the Hurts, Tyreek, T. Higgins, and Christian Watson. And then, of course, Shady as well with the 4 wide receivers, all of them being good picks that I would have considered. So I'm on the clock here, and I'm kind of forced to go with a double wide receiver given the setting. Like, I could, take a guy like Dustin Fields or Trevor Lawrence, but in the 6-point passing touchdown setting, I do still have a couple options later on. I'll just, I guess, tell you guys my thought process. I mean, that's kind of the downside of being a content creator is you got to let you guys know the informed information, even if it, bones you in the long term. But I think I'm going to bite the bullet. I think our 2 highest rated players would be Terry McLaurin and Brandon Ayuk. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go 2 wide receivers and make sure I don't fall behind too far in terms of.
Make sure I do fall behind too far is more so what you meant there, I think.
Well, that too. But I mean, you mentioned the good players and good offenses theory. Well, maybe Washington could be good, but aside from them, like Las Vegas, not great. I don't know, man. I'm not feeling the greatest from the 1 spot compared to what I thought coming in.
Yeah, I mean,
I actually feel like dying
like
right now at this point in the draft. Also, come on, the wide receiver avalanche is going on fast and furious, and you guys have the audacity to have 30 likes on the stream. 30. There's 200 of you in here right now. We need that number at least up to 75. That's not too much to ask. Definitely appreciate that. So, the tight end's gone. Thank God I didn't have to go with a tight end because I would have been so fucked at wide receiver.
Man.
Like, I can't take Chris Godwin would be my pick, but I can't take another bad offense player. I just can't do it. So what I'm going to do is take Tyler Lockett, who ranked similarly for me, that is at least in a capable offense that can actually move the fucking football.
This is wild right now, man. I did not think I would like a number 1 picking team less than I do right now. Like any other league, I have the 1 pick. I'm walking away with Jefferson, with Pollard, with Josh Allen, and I'm looking at this monstrosity right now, thinking what could have been.
I'm like really happy my guy pulled his hamstring right about now. Like I was kicking his ass, and then he pulled his hamstring, and I fell to 3, and this is looking great for me. I am betting against Bihan, and I'm sniping every one of your players, so you shouldn't talk about who you want.
You've gotten the opposite of me because you're picking in the tail end of shit. So you're like hitting the tier breaks right as they end, which is like the ideal spot to be from. But I mean, I think this board further reaffirms the thing that we talked about throughout the 1 to 4, 5 to 8, and 9 to 12 videos is that 3 and 4 are, I mean, I would say Negrin's getting a little lucky here at the 1-3. The 4 is just fucking awful to pick from.
Yeah.
And the middle of the first round to me seems like the sweet spot. You're hitting all the tier breaks. You're getting the end of the wide receiver run in round 2. You're getting the mid, RB one, a low end RB1 tier in round 3. Then you're getting the maybe you deviate for a quarterback or a tight end in round 4 and 5. Plus you have flexibility to still get one of those like Amari Cooper types or something sliding to you at value. So, I mean, I'm honestly, like, I'm not as mad now that I have DJ Moore and Tyler Lockett. I'm glad at least Tyler Lockett fell to me because I thought there was a chance that he wouldn't even fell. And I'm so glad that Negrin went with Pitts there instead of Lockett because I would have been fucked.
Yeah.
When I have Christian Watson, I'm just like, I gotta go on Pitts as well. I'm just going for a ceiling at this point. Like, if everyone hits on all cylinders, we're scoring 300 points every week. If not, I'm scoring 0. There's gonna be no in between.
You're preaching to the choir on that one. I absolutely love both of those high ceiling picks, especially because I mean with Christian Watson, you're relying upon him as your wide receiver 3. Basically, I don't want to say basically a flex, but you have Tyreek Hill and T. Higgins for your week to week quote unquote consistency. That getting a guy like Christian Watson, who from a yards per run perspective, from a yards per team of pass attempts perspective last year, dominated, especially down the stretch. Like again, he was not making it back to you at the 5-3. I'm just gonna let you know.
Oh yeah, no, those are my 4 plays are my first 3 picks, and then as you guys know, we're swinging for upside the rest of this. So we'll see how it goes.
Let's get it.
Who will end the Joe Mixon slide is the real question.
Nobody.
It's not going to be me.
I don't want to do this. I can't take more suspended players on my team. Potential
going undrafted, man. Okay, I'm checking.
I don't think, for what it's worth, I don't think Tyreek's catching a suspension. All right, let's get Brock in here. He hasn't been in here in a while. Hoves is just absolutely tilting on the clock. We'll get him in after he makes his pick, but we'll see what are you looking at, Brock? You got a George Kittle, Christian Kirk 4-5 turn there. How you feeling? You feeling disgusting? Everybody feels gross right now. So welcome to the club.
This has got to be one of my least favorite teams I've drafted. I've drafted 50 teams this year. This is dog shit. But anyway, my one bet. So in the 4th round, I'm sitting there saying this team can be resurrected. 6 points per passing touchdown. You're going to give me Justin Herbert, who could have 5,000 yards, maybe 40 touchdowns. Get sniped. And I'm like, you know what? We're talking about betting on crap offenses for Bush. I'm like, I'm just going to double down on the Niners offense and take George Kittle. That was my logic in the 4th round, and I don't love those receivers. And then Christian Kirk, I was like, dude, I got to get a receiver. And I am not taking D-Hop because I already have Derrick Henry. I'm not betting that much on the Titans. So here I am.
Hey, knowing you, the fact that our draft room made you draft Derrick Henry is probably disgusting for you in your own right. But I mean, with a 0.25 for first downs, like the 3-5, we got to fucking relax a little bit.
Yeah, and then
the king fading the king that hard's a little egregious. I would have picked him had Taylor not been there for what it's worth. I wouldn't have gone with a different player over Derrick Henry there. So it looks like Hoves decided to finally make a pick. I want to get him in here because he literally took up like every last second of the draft clock. So I want to see how gross was it biting the bullet on a 31-year-old 10th year wide receiver.
Disgusting. I was not gonna pick him, but the drop, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna go for. I don't want to give up my strategy later on, but I think he was gonna be the last, I don't know, quote unquote safe wide receiver for me without risking too much of a very high rookie or or first, second year wide receiver. So went with Hopkins. Not proud about it, but I'm not sad. I'm not sad either. At least I don't have to pick Joe Mixon.
I mean, like, I personally would probably prefer like Godwin, but like regardless there, if you do not take your highest wide receiver on the board, you're probably looking down the barrel of like George Pickens being the best available at your next pick. And you probably wouldn't have you probably would not have forgiven yourself if you passed on one there. So I do like the pick of getting a receiver, especially because you have those 2 studs at running back that you can rely upon with Pollard and Gibbs. That 3-stack of wide receiver in a league that you can set up to 5 per week with Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, and DeAndre Hopkins should be able to get you by.
Brian's going with the high T. 4 running backs and Patrick Mahomes. I love that shit right there. That is elite. I'm not gonna lie. Just tone, absolutely tone setting. Only the first downs. That's all he wants is only first downs. Najee Harris and Joe Mixon will get you those. They probably won't average more than like 3.5 yards per carry, but hell, 50 first downs is potentially worth it in this format. And thank God Tom took Chris Godwin, so I didn't have to fucking tilt that if he came back to me.
Man, I was praying he would fall. He wouldn't fall, but
let's hear the rationale. Are you a Baker stan officially?
Ooh.
I'm not a big Baker guy, honestly. But if we're talking full PPR, I need to start 3 of them. I know he's going to get targets. At the end of the day, it's like, it's kind of the case for Drake London, right? I know he's going to get the targets. It's really no different. It's kind of like the Seahawks of last year where we're like, oh my God, Geno Smith is the guy. Like, it's kind of the same argument, I think. Here I'm debating between 2 players because I know it's probably a reach on one of them, but I know this room, he's definitely not coming back. Very tempted to scoop that up.
Let's see who it is.
I mean, you're at the 111 spot. You're pretty much never going to be able to, play value. You kind of just have to get your guys when you're picking at the tail end, either on Danny's side of the board or on your side of the board. You kind of just got to take your guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to need a second on this one, man.
We got a live tilt on the call here.
Well, dude, are you guys going to make me take fucking Joe Mixon at the 612? Like, are you?
No, he's gone.
No, he's on.
Okay. I was scared I would have to take him at my next pick, man. Like,
well, I was planning as Godwin's going to leave, so I already had my next 2 picks, but Waller was my tilt. I was working to get him back.
Pain. Yeah, we do see a big snipe already. Oh, fuck. There's no chance, bro. Somebody made it back.
What?
Dude, every receiver that's on the board is playing for a team that's going to score 385 points this year.
Bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's my 4th receiver. I mean, that's good value. So.
Sorry, quick note. Brian with the high T here. Fucking 5 running backs. We needed at least one person with the robust RB in here, man. No, but we needed one person just so it wasn't a complete wide receiver piss boy room. There's probably people watching right now thinking, what the fuck are you guys actually doing?
Dude, we bleed blue in these streets, man.
Hey, man.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you could argue Dobbins was a good value. I don't frankly believe in his health fully, so I was kind of out on him at the 602. Sure. That was my other guy. You could argue Goddard as well. I'm kind of surprised Ingram went over Goddard, but
Ryland says that disgusted look on Bush's face will be present for the rest of this week's videos, dude. How am I going to sit here with a straight face in videos and be like, yeah, like go get Mike Williams in round 6 of a sleeper draft. He went in the 411 of our fucking listener league because everybody's so horny for wide receivers.
Man. Dude, we literally said on a video today, like, oh yeah, sleeper ADP, Mike Williams, like 71.5. He's like the best value. We have him ranked 2 rounds higher. And he literally goes at in our draft, which I mean, we should have expected to begin with, but man, I was just like hoping, oh yeah, I'm going to have Mike Williams on this turn. I'm going to have Christian Watson on this turn. Fuck no.
Did you see in our chat, why did we vote for 3? Is what someone was
Dude, I fucking voted for 2. I knew this shit was going to happen, and I voted for 2.
I mean, I felt like I reached on Addison, but,
Jeez. These rooms are looking like an underdog draft right now, man.
I mean, do you think it was a reach on Addison? I'm curious to hear your guys' take.
He was not making it back to you. I'll just tell you that right now.
Yeah, no, he would have been my pick for sure.
Yeah, he would have been my fucking pick.
So, thankfully, I don't have to take a risk on a different shit offense because I already have Jonathan Taylor. So, I will take Michael Pittman here.
Fuck you.
Knowing that I'm already betting on the Colts anyway. So, it's no additional risk to me. Anthony Richardson, go out and do the Lord's young man, or else I'm going to be fucked this year.
You asshole, man. That's like, that was literally my next rated receiver. I have my cheat sheet right in front of me right now.
Brian likes old school football.
Bargus says Brian is about to dangle those running backs in the faces of all the other teams.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
There's no way you took JSN too. Let's get in a grin in here. You asshole. He's literally my next rated receiver.
I love being the villain. This is great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I get sniped on the Sean too. Are we serious?
Oh, I love that. Dude, watching Danny tilt is fun as shit. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually so annoyed that I finished highly in that race. Like, I was totally hoping for a late pick because I'm looking at some of you guys with late picks and mid picks, and your teams look way fucking better than mine.
Like, you guys literally are going to make me pass on fucking Aaron Jones at the 6-7 turn. Like, can I even do that? Like,
no, you got to pick Aaron Jones here, dude.
You got to pick him.
If you don't.
I kind of do, don't I? Like,
yeah, you got to pick Aaron Jones here.
Because you don't want him, asshole. I know why, but
I will take him if you don't want him. But like, yeah, you should take him.
That'd be my first pick of this draft where I'm like, I just feel like I have to take him.
I kind of have to. I took your boy too, by the way, Bushy.
Yeah, thank God I don't have to invest in another bad offense.
You fucker. By the way, for the record, I technically have Javonte rated higher than Aaron Jones, but I have Javonte in 2 other leagues, and I don't know if I want to put his fucking knee on the line there. And he goes with the next exact fucking pick anyway, so it did not matter.
I was actually going to pick him here, even though I know he has no knees, and that's pretty important to run the ball.
It usually helps. Yeah.
I hate all of these running backs. I really do.
Oh my God.
I hate all of them.
Why is it, dude? I'm sorry. Like, I'm a wide receiver piss boy, but you made me take Aaron Jones at my ranking, and I'm like fucking 2.5 rounds lower on Aaron Jones. Like,
Your
this should not be a
team's
thing.
Average age is 30 years old. This is great.
Oh God, I'm sick. Fuck.
I'm just gonna bet on my boy that I also have a dynasty. We'll do it.
Oh my God, dude! I was
go.
shitting my pants thinking that you were gonna take Gabe Davis there, man.
Oh,
I think you talked
he's-
about it earlier in the draft. I'm like, if you ruin the stack for me, I will literally lose my mind.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll root for you, rooting
He's
for
literally your
him.
boy.
I need him to do well. He's like the only thing UCF has besides Dante Culpepper.
I respect it.
Didn't Marquez Valdez-Scantling go to USF or UCF too?
I don't think so. No, I think the only
I
people
think
we
he
have
did
notable
for
is
a couple
Gabe
years,
Davis.
but then he transferred.
We have Gabe Davis. We had the boat, Blake Bortles, Dante Culpepper. I'm gonna forget some people for sure. I'm gonna get some hate in the comments from the other UCF people here.
Oh, USF. USF is where he went.
Put that out.
South Florida is where he went.
By the way, I apologize for anybody in here in advance, but I just had 3 of those rum and cokes, and the serving size of the rum probably wasn't standard at your local bars. So,
oh God, it's gonna be a repeat of day 1 of the draft again.
I will limit myself to make sure I don't have another one of those until at least round 10 or 11. So we'll make sure I'm at least functional.
I might
get some wine. We'll get that going. We're looking good right now. I'm confident in my team.
But the Italian in me right now is just craving a nice fucking glass of wine too. I feel like
I need a drink for a different reason.
Because of the fucking wide receiver piss boy room we're in.
The wide receiver piss boys are out in full force right now.
I'll tell you right now, I did not think I would have Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones before I had a quarterback. So you guys, you did a number on me. You did throw me for a loop.
Oh man, this is brutal.
Yeah, facts, Matthias. Amen. Hey, brother, it's a draft stream. We're gonna be fucking spitting some wild takes right now. You got to prepare.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts. It actually hurts my brain knowing that I took Gabe Davis over Jahan Dotson from an ability standpoint. But you know what? Stacking tiebreaker plus, I needed some. I can't take another venture into another bad offense. I just can't do it.
You like subconsciously, I really wanted you to do that, like just to spite me. Just take the Gabe Davis. I was hoping he would somehow make it back to me, which would never happen. But we'll say you sniped me for once.
In this room, you think you'd make it back?
No, I think we're gonna have like practice squad players as our second flex at this point.
Bro, we're taking like Ronnie Bell round 11.
Ryan H is like wide receiver 1. So
yeah.
Why are running backs going so late in this draft? Well, let me tell you, this is an FSE draft. This was expected coming in.
Because running backs kicked our fucking dogs and stole our newspapers. That's why.
So let me check off the board right now. We do got it.
Great value on Mike Evans. Tom says in the chat, and I agree with him. I think that was a good value. If I could deviate for a decent receiver from a bad offense, I would have done it.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's see what we got. Hoves just made a pick here. Let's see. Let's get him in the chat. We got was that QJ going off the board? Finally, a receiver from a good team. I didn't know those existed.
Yeah. I mean, look, I got my bases loaded. I got my solid. Maybe don't talk about Hopkins, but we got a solid wide receivers, and now we're going for a long shot. Keenan Allen has no hamstring. As much as I forgot who was saying it. You need as much as you need to run, you need a hamstring to do anything. So this is a fade on Keenan Allen, and QJ is gonna take over.
I respect it. I mean, you're preaching to the choir. You know how much I love QJ.
Yeah, I mean, as of now, he's the wide receiver 4 on this team, but we'll see how it plays out after a couple weeks for sure. Is somebody going to take Miles Sanders? Because I don't think I've ever once advocated for Miles Sanders in my fucking life.
He's not even my highest rated running back
value at this point in time.
I mean, for what it's worth, he's my 5th rated running back right now. So we'll see where he goes.
Brian, I swear to God, if you take Miles Sanders, I'll lose my mind.
Please do it. Please just like high tea the fuck out of this and try to trade us your running backs. I swear. Real question.
Are you from Miami, Hopes? We're gonna get 100%, 1000% from Miami.
Where are you from?
No, man. I'm from LA.
I respect
I'm
it.
on
Okay.
vacation. I said it. I need my hat on.
Where are you
respect
on
it.
vacation?
I'm in Palm Springs. The funny thing is, the Hurricane Hillary or whatever. This is like the epicenter or like the highest. I don't know, whatever whatever term you want to use. And it was pretty wild yesterday. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, bro. I mean, I'm craving some hot weather right now because we're in
Yeah.
summer technically, but as you could imagine in Ontario, it doesn't reach the heights that
Yeah.
LA would reach.
Yeah, I was
no,
gonna
for
say,
sure.
like, how do you go on vacation in LA if you live there? But then I guess if there's a
Yeah.
hurricane, that
Yeah.
kind of makes some sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, I respect it. Dude, we need a nice hot vacation soon. I'll tell you that. Like just hot weather, southern US or fucking another exotic
Oh, I'm
country
going to
there.
Mexico in January again, dude.
You
That was way
bastard,
too
man.
fun.
In
I
January,
need
how's it? It's not too hot
Yeah, it
in
was great.
January though.
My girlfriend's
Yeah.
birthday is at the end of January, and she's from Mexico, so she wanted to
Okay.
spend her birthday in Mexico, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it, and watch some CJ Stroud and Bryce Young playing on the tape on the plane,
Okay.
and just chilled out.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
that's a vibe.
It was a vibe indeed. I knew Sky Moore was going to go higher in this draft. I could just sense it. I was like, maybe there's a chance he falls back to me, but I was like, there's zero fucking chance he falls back to me at the same time.
Let's see if Brian takes another running back. That is actually the spectacle of the draft.
Oh,
I think he thinks it's
running
2.5
back
points per
strategy will
first
be
down.
dominant.
Yeah, facts. Well, I mean, we get him. Actually, he's not in anymore. I was gonna say he was in the chat earlier. Brian, if you're watching right now and you're not in, like, hop in. Let's go through the thought process of the robust RB strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see the robust. This is a robust RB versus the world right there. Brian's going
Counselor
with
would
the
be
whole
proud.
like you fade everything that your league mates are doing. We're all buffoons in his mind, right?
Facts.
Like that's the play. That's the thesis of his play right now.
We got a grin in the chat saying everybody agreed not to trade with Brian.
He goes
Oh,
Traylon
no.
Burks, wide receiver one. He just
No.
autoed.
Oh
Oh, you hate to
man.
see it.
Oh man.
Yo, he is fuming right now. He's like, all my late round wide receiver sleepers are off the board. Guys, I thought I'd get in round 10 or fucking off.
We got a fired in the chat from Sir King here. Yeah,
Oh,
this is
man.
gonna be a rough wide receiver position to piece together, Brian. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I mean, at least you only have to start fucking 3 of them each week because it's clear that you're gonna be starting running backs in your flex all the time.
Facts. I mean, yeah, he's just gonna be ripping the high T strategy. I mean, yo, counselor or that other like counselor understudy who roasts people on YouTube, they're gonna find this freaking stream and they're gonna rip it to shreds with all the blue on screen.
What is this? I need to bring the grid into this right now. What did you just say? Asthma's a mindset.
Asthma's a mindset. So I did that dynasty decision with y'all. I traded off ETN, traded off Deshaun and Njoku. I got like Burks and a couple firsts. And it's just one of those things that you don't root for players until they're on your team. Like I have no attachment. And then I was trying to remember why he like fell in the draft. And it was because he just has asthma, I guess. So I was like, I don't care if I have to bring him an inhaler every single game. Like you're going to make this happen. We're going to make it work.
Sorry, I just noticed this too. I gotta point it out. He's auto boy now. Oh man, yo, I'm fucking having a blast.
Yeah, I mean, not really because our teams suck.
Yeah,
but like figuratively, we're having a blast.
Yeah, and I did not think all the blue would be going, but I did. But like, I was praying like in the 10th percentile chance that it doesn't. But yeah,
Tom's going with a little
10%
Zay
chance it
Flowers. You like some rookie wide receivers by the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm taking shots. If I get one of my guys get injured, I got to start 3 receivers. I want to start 5 every week, so I'm just taking upside right now. I'm definitely not bullish on Odell, and we know Bateman can't stay healthy to save his life.
Oh man, I'll see who you go with here.
Yeah, I think you're going to be unhappy as well on this.
Oh God, I'm actually nervous. So they're gonna be at the guy we talked about today.
I know exactly.
I know who it's gonna be too. Yeah, I knew it.
I just had to, man. That's why I was out on Amari because if you just
there you go. You're making your
it.
bets twice, right? You passed on Amari
Amen.
Cooper, you come back and you grab Elijah Moore. If that's the reason you don't like Amari Cooper, it makes some sense for sure.
For what it's worth, I was praying he fell back, but after seeing that Deshaun Watson also got sniped at me at the 6'11", I was pretty pretty understanding that Shady Sands, even if he had fallen to the 8-11, would have sniped me. So at least you got him off the board, so my heart isn't completely broken.
Yeah.
Why is Juju this high in ADP, bro?
Ew.
Targets, but yeah, what do you guys? Can you explain to the non maybe bog folks who maybe are like, oh my god, how did I pass on all these running backs? Because I know we are viewed as a little contrarian, but I'm just curious to hear your take. Maybe you think I should have taken an RB. I think
I actually probably would have. Maybe not over Moore, but maybe over Flowers. I might have gone with Sanders or Swift at that point in time. I mean, I thought we would at least get like half of the listener league filled with people who like don't despise running backs to the nth degree.
Diehards.
And
I love it.
And the whole draft wouldn't be terrible, but sometimes I guess we all bleed blue. We're all blue blooded.
I'm just sticking to my hero RB, man, because well at this point they're dropping so far. I know I'm still going to pick up value on the 9-11.
Yeah, Danny, show the board, by the way.
Oh, yeah, my fault. Sorry. But, oh, my God. Oh, yeah, he literally gave me a disclaimer in the chat, so I'll give you credit. But, I mean, for what it's worth, if you had not gone with Rain Dakota Prescott, I'm pretty sure that Brock probably would have. So I was already being, in advance ready to get let down.
Somebody take a running back, please. I don't want to have.
Fuck, man. Like, why are these running backs available? I know the answer, but fuck.
This is hilarious, though. Like, here's the nice thing. If you guys are watching this thinking your home league draft's going to go this way, it absolutely will not. So you guys are fine. Like, your home league drafts will be your classic, buffoon league mate who takes, there's going to be, no offense, Brian, but there's going to be 6 Brians in your home league. So you guys are definitely going to be in a better spot there. So Rashad Bateman, the guy who cannot stay healthy, famously said by Tom here in the chat, comes off the board at the 8-6. We still have some running backs on the board, and I'm going to scream if I have to take one. So let's see what happens here.
This is so gross.
It feels like I'm watching Blue Bloods right now. Oh, my God. What is okay, this could be a completely uncultured take, but was Tom Selleck on Blue Bloods?
I don't know.
Or what was he on? He was on a police show in like the 70s, right?
No, I think you're right. Magnum PI was his other show.
I'm going to keep it a stack where you
okay.
watch.
I thought I sounded cultured, but I might sound like a moron with that take.
No, I think you're right. That's his current show, I think. I have a family member who's all about it.
Okay, well, I thought he was on I thought he was on that show in the 70s. So if that's his current show, then I'm definitely off on that take.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it a stack, Corey. You watch like a lot more shows than I do. Like, you're teaching me a lot of this stuff.
Well, I might be wrong, so you might not want to listen.
Fair. I didn't hear any love for Lazard. No chance him having a rapport with Rodgers from last year. Plus, he's coming off his best fantasy season. Rodgers always spreads the ball. I just don't think he's a very good player, and I don't see any reason why a guy like McCole Hardman, why a guy like Tyler Conklin wouldn't be ahead of him in the pecking order. So it's just kind of an ADP thing for me because I expect Garrett Wilson to smash. I expect Breece Hall to smash that. I don't really see the pure upside case for a guy like Allen Lazard. Like, I'm not drafting a wide receiver to finish as wide receiver 34, to be honest.
I mean, for what it's worth in this format, wide receiver 34 in PPR is not a terrible second flex option to invest in. So at this point in the draft, I mean, I'm not totally against a player like him. But yeah, I'm probably more likely to draft other players in that area of the draft. I think the running back position is typically better where Lazard goes, and that's typically why I don't, go after a guy like him. But and at wide receiver even too. Like, I mean, I took Gabe Davis at 7-4, but usually that's about where Lazard goes, and I would much rather take Gabe Davis, Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, even Odell Beckham and Cortland Sutton I would rather have probably than Allen Lazard. But I don't think he's a terrible option. I think he could have some spike weeks and touchdowns. More of like a best ball guy when I draft Rodgers, though. I'm not usually drafting him in like managed leagues.
I agree with you there.
I have to take DeAndre Swift. Are you kidding me?
Like, are you going to select DeAndre Swift for me?
No, there's no. Okay, so he wasn't making it back to me, Corey. You do what your heart desires.
Oh, I will. I mean, again, I need more. My goal was to get better players and better offenses, and I think my last 4 picks, I mean, I already made the bet on the Colts offense, so Pittman's not a bad option. Tyler Lockett should be in a good offense. And then Gabe Davis and Swift should be in 2 top 5 offenses in the NFL. So, I mean, I think I've done an okay job of backfilling some decent offensive production after, taking some risks earlier on in the draft.
Quick note, by the way, Chan, I do agree. If Corey Davis does make the team, obviously there's the risk that he gets cut because of his contract. But if he does make the team, I do agree with you that I think he's just a flat out better player than Alan Lazard. So I don't mind that take. Bush got to pick Thielen, missing a bad offense.
Sure, yeah. I'm trying to play fucking bingo with them right now.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, appreciate that, brother. Means a lot, man. And of course, if you guys are watching right now, 168 concurrent viewers, listen to Rylan, man. If you haven't already liked the stream, make sure you do so because we're having a great time. We're seeing all the wide receiver piss boys in this room completely decimate the wide receiver position. So at least for our own heartache of missing out on some good value at our spots, hit that like button.
I'm not going to say another word until this stream's at 100 likes. It's at 77 likes right now. There's 177 of you in here. I will not speak until we're at 100 likes. I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll be taking over as Bush today. Here's my microphone.
I'm trying to check my cheat sheet right now of who my highest rated player would even be. Okay, so it's exactly who I think it would be. I just mentioned the take about how the Chiefs offense isn't fair for running backs in terms of first downs, but an 8-12 Isaiah Pacheco is kind of too much to pass up. I'm not going to lie. Am I going to have to take him the knucklehead? Am I really going to have to do that right now? I don't want to take Tua here. It would have been Dak if he had fallen. Oh, man. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Pacheco, and I'm going to go Kadarius Toney. I don't like that at all, but, I mean, you guys kind of forced my hand. Yeah, I kind of had to, man. Like, fuck. Ugh. Ew.
So you're out on Tua. I thought that was a smash pick.
I mean, I like Tua, but I kind of view him in a relative similar fashion to some of the quarterbacks on the board that it doesn't really make sense from an opportunity cost standpoint when I know like Geno Smith, who projects relatively similar to him, or Kirk Cousins, who I pretty much have ranked straight above him. I actually think I do. Should make it back to that next turn, not to mention the inherent value of the stack. Kind of makes me lean of just waiting a guy like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I do have Kadarius Toney. I did not want to have to make that pick, but you guys kind of forced my hand. Rashad White, David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert. Okay, so I'm just gonna check some names off on this board.
And then where do we think JT lands? I feel like that because that kind of makes my picking a little interesting.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor.
Oh yeah, sorry, Bush can't speak, so
I would assume
we don't know his landing spot. We know he's not going to the Jets. They just blew $7 million on Delvin Cook, $6 million, I think, guaranteed. I don't think he's going to Green Bay.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. I think Miami is the most plausible spot. It all depends, honestly, on what I think it all depends on what the Colts' actual asking offer is. Because if they're asking for a first-round pick, nobody in their fucking right mind, unless you have a 2012-esque owner or GM, would be able to make that trade. But if the asking price, he's on the market, he gets a little stale, kind of like real estate, where if it's on the market for too long, the asking price is going to go down for the most part. If it gets to like a second-round pick and you're a playoff team, maybe you consider it. But I honestly think it might be closer to like a third and a fifth or a third and a sixth level package. I mean, similar to what the Eagles paid for DeAndre Swift, because people are kind of sharp now. They realize that paying a running back a contract in its own right is a bad move. But then also trading draft capital to be able to do so is even worse of a move.
Yeah, and then I'll speak for Bush here. I went with Pat Freiermuth to make sure we got the targets there. It is a bad offense, but I'm betting on maybe some touchdown, positive regression there.
Danny might need another Buffalo cuddle session. Jesus Christ, you guys are fucked up. Smash the like, bring back Bush. Yeah, if you guys haven't already gotten this to triple-digit likes, let Bush speak, man. The guy has so many thoughts in his brain right now. He just wants to say it right now. He wants to talk about his Pat Freiermuth pick. He wants to talk about his DeAndre Swift pick. The least you can do is leave a like.
I want to know if I sniped him. He hasn't said anything
JJ.
yet. Was he liking Charbonnet? I know nothing about this guy.
I have no clue, man. Do you like Charbonnet? Do you not like Charbonnet? The people at home want to know.
I think Bush just loves Freiermuth.
I was going Patty regardless. Okay, I respect it. it.
And then that's amazing, man. I almost took Freiermuth at the A2.
Yeah, how many likes do we have right now, realistically? We do have 88 likes, 89 now, because I just liked it on the FSC account. It's 11 more, man. There's 156 people in here. I know all of you haven't liked it. He's clicking the timeout because he wants to talk. Go do it, man. Come on. 91, 9 more. 9 more, man. 9 more. 8 more. We got 92. We're doing a live fucking countdown on this bad boy, man. We're doing a live countdown. I want to see 8 more come in succession.
Video in my family group chat. Get
Come
everyone
on.
to like it. That's fine.
Yeah, just send it in the family group chat.
Yeah,
Bush is
mom's
dying
like,
to talk.
what it is.
Let's go.
I'm on YouTube.
95. Am I gonna have to hop on my or did you like it on the FSC account already, Corey? You can give me a finger single. You have not, so I might have to switch to the FSC to be able to do that. Yeah, he wants to talk, so I will help him out.
100. There we go. There we go. We're good.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. I got
There we go, fellas. By the way, Ryland, it was in Brooklyn, not in Buffalo.
Yeah. Let's go, boys. Appreciate you guys for getting us over that 3-digit barrel.
Someone unliked it. Doesn't
Come
matter.
on.
You got me to 100 already. I'm good.
Troll fucker. Oh, man. Man, this room is making me fucking vomit right now with the options I'm looking at.
Yeah, I mean, Shady Sands is pulling a masterclass on all of us right now, dude. What a fucking zero RB this guy has built out.
He's cooking, man. He is
getting a
absolutely
Javonte
cooking.
Williams, David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert baseline there to go along with his Chase, Ridley, Smith, Williams, Hawkinson, and Watson. You love to see that shit.
Facts. Now the question is, how far does Joe Mixon went, right? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Brian.
There's no way you thought Joe Mixon was still on the board. I don't hate him that much. I would have picked him if he was still on the board.
For what it's worth, I would have as well, but that's funny. I was going to say, like, who's going to take the bullet on Dalvin Cook, considering he's basically the next Joe Mixon in terms of FSC hated.
Is he still on the board? Yeah, I guess he is still on the board, huh?
Yeah.
I had something so funny I could have done. I kind of got both the Cook brothers, and I wanted to do it so bad.
You just couldn't.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't commit to the meme. I couldn't do it.
I respect.
Yeah, let's get Brock hasn't been in here in a while. I'm gonna backseat you two here so we can get Brock in the chat. You made a bunch of picks here. Dotson, Connor, AJ Dillon. How you feeling?
By the way,
I've had better teams before. I mean, I think my favorite pick so far has definitely been Deontay. I mean, he's a 5th round pick on Underdog. Usually, if there's a receiver that's going higher on Underdog and I'm getting him in this draft, that's probably going to be a good value, especially in full PPR. I got the upside in Dotson, and now the receivers are so bad. I'm like, okay, I'm taking some of the running backs. And Danny, I don't know if you're going to get Kirk Cousins to fall back to you. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, there's no way, bro. Take A-Rich, bro. You're a Colts fan, for fuck's sake.
No, not in 6 point per passing touchdown. That was the one thing I was like, in this league with 3 receivers and 2 flexes, I felt that it was going to be hard to pick 2 onesies high and have enough receivers. And so after I picked Kittle, I'm like, okay, I'm probably punting quarterback. And it's worked out where Kirk Cousins in 6 point per passing touchdown. Yeah, I'll take him all day.
Brother, your PFP on Twitter is literally Anthony Richardson. If you pass on him, like, he's not making it back to you. I will tell you that right now.
That's all right. I got plenty.
6 point, bro. If I'm getting 10, 11 turn freaking Anthony Richardson, I'm still taking it.
Am I a piss boy, or like, am I an absolute casual if I don't take Anthony Richardson with my next pick? I literally have Pittman and Jonathan Taylor.
You have Allen, bro. Fuck off.
I know, but I could
shut up.
I could probably get a wide receiver 3 for Josh Allen on the open market.
Yeah, I'll throw.
If I tried to trade Josh Allen, I'd be like getting the best receivers I'm looking at are like Debo.
Bro, best I could do is Terry McLaurin, bro.
Dude, the second there's a wide receiver waiver ad in this fucking league, the entire fab budget's going down for a wide receiver 3.
Facts. We are really fucking struggling out here. I was gonna say this, like, is Brian Robinson actually still on the board? That's a good fucking pick.
I would have taken him if I didn't have if I didn't go Freiermuth. I was like, you know what? If I don't take Freiermuth here, both him and Njoku are going to be gone. Even though I was like, maybe they won't be. They would have been gone, and then I would have been fucked at tight end. So I was like, you know what? Just give me Freiermuth.
For real, bro. This is crazy. The last time I felt this way was literally just last year's FSC Patreon draft, where it wasn't even as RB lenient as it now. At least now you can point to the fact that there's the 0.25 bonus for the first downs. Last year, not only was it a 3 wide receiver, 2 flex start full PPR league, we literally had fucking big play bonuses. We had big play bonuses, 40 yards, 40-yard touchdowns, everything. So if you didn't have a strong wide receiver core, it didn't matter how good your running backs core, you literally fucked.
Yeah. Anybody who hits on a sleeper wide receiver in this league is going to win. I think whoever drafts a 13th round wide receiver that becomes a wide receiver too, it's a wrap. Game's over. You won.
GG's. Yeah, man, this is getting disgusting. Like, I did not think I would also take Kadarius fucking Toney, but that's where we're at.
Tom with a noted 4th round value according to Josh Hayes of SiriusXM. Dalvin Cook there at the 9-11.
Yeah, I just had to take him.
Kind of had to, yeah.
I'm staring down the gun as well on another player, so I just think I'm going to have to take him.
I respect it.
Yeah.
What a sickening display of wide receiver hoarding this is.
This is insane, man. I love it, though. I love every second of it. I could have ended up with an objectively better team in a more balanced draft room, but just the fact that literally, like, everyone other than Brian in here is, like, drafting wide receivers heavy just puts a smile on my face.
Yeah. The upside with McKinnon's too high. Pacheco's
like
still dealing with some injuries. And, like, for a hero RB, I have Dalvin Cook, McKinnon, and Chubb. Like, Dalvin, to be honest, I almost took him over Elijah Moore because I know it's guaranteed. Like, he's going to catch the ball as well.
Yeah, no, I dig it.
But,
I mean, you got both.
Between him and Brees, he's actually the least healthy right now, if that means anything. So, not the most ideal spot for him. McKinnon, for what it's worth, Eckler and McCaffrey led the running back position by a pretty wide margin in first downs receiving last year. McKinnon was actually 3rd. So, he was right there with him on those guys. Yeah, I definitely like the way that your draft is kind of shaken out. You've got a lot of I don't have really any concerns outside of Chris Godwin, really, of the offenses that you invested in, which is something that always makes you feel better about your team. Even if some of your players, you're like, oh, Addison's a little risky. Yeah, Elijah Moore's a little risky. When you invest in players with good offenses, it makes them at least easier to trade if you want to move off of them at the worst case. And usually, they end up overperforming when they're in good offenses too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I did punt tight end, which is probably very obvious, but I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, if I had the choice of Mark Andrews or any of the quarterbacks, I definitely would have taken the quarterback. But in this type of room, especially given the 3 wide receiver, 2 flex with the 0.25 bonus for the running backs, like, this is the type of draft you would want to punt tight end, basically. So
absolutely, that's why I did it. I knew there was no chance I was taking a tight end early in this draft, and honestly, I didn't want to take a quarterback early either. Even though the quarterbacks were like highly valued, I would have much rather gotten a Watson in round 6 than taking Josh Allen in round 2. Yeah. Just given I would have been really behind the 8 ball at wide receiver. But I mean, I look at my team and I'm like, oh my God, my team sucks. Look at my wide receivers. But like realistically, Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Taylor could absolutely carry my ass. So it's not as bad if all I need from my wide receiver core is like 13 to 15 points per game from all of them, which is the thesis that many, running back or truthers talk about anyway. It's like the highest ceiling position is running back, especially in this format. Bijan could be a 25 point per game guy if he hits his ceiling, and Jonathan Taylor could be like clearly a 20 point per game guy as well. Even if Richardson isn't very good, Taylor's a good enough player that he can kind of, overcome that. So I'm actually back on the board here. The running back position surprisingly dried up like really fast.
Yeah, it did.
I went with a double hero. And I have Swift, who I got at the 8-9 too, which actually I don't draft Swift nearly ever, but at the 8-9, I will fucking grab DeAndre Swift any day of the week. I got the potential RB1 for the Philadelphia Eagles in the 8th round. Not that I believe that's like a really sticky take, because a lot of people will say that about DeAndre Swift to take him earlier, but I mean, he was the only running back who was rested in the most recent preseason game of the 3 out there. So, on the clock right now, I don't really love the rest of the running back position. I'm probably not going to go in that direction. The wide receiver position's not the greatest either. I think knowing that it's a deeper format, usually at this point in the draft, I'm willing to just, punt upside. I'm only taking upside. I'm not taking any safe options, but I'll take a guy that could be potentially an option for my flex. And somebody brought him up earlier. I can't remember who it was. I'm actually going to go. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go with Alan Lazard because I didn't actually see Cortland Sutton's name because I think he's a better player. So I'm going to grab Cortland Sutton instead.
Fair enough.
I was going to go Alan Lazard though, for what it's worth.
Also, quickly got to bring in Brock after that Kirk snipe. So you were true to your word. You did end up sniping Kirk. I'm pretty much in shambles right now because I could have obviously, of course, stacked him with Justin Jefferson. So just thoughts on Kirk, at that 10 overall or 10-8 overall pick. And you went against your boy. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, because you guys were saying, I don't really want quarterback or tight end. I was like, I felt like they were good. That's why I was voting so hard for 6 point per passing touchdown, knowing we were 3 wide receiver, 2 flex, because I was like, there are viable options with the Tua or Kirk Cousins that can go later, and they, 32 passing touchdowns that can work for me, because the elite quarterbacks are great in this format, but man, I don't want to be starting some bum as in my flex or something. So, and I was okay with Kirk Cousins. It was just pretty much the way our league was structured. I felt quarterback or tight end, one of those two were the position to punt, and I picked one of them.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I dig it for sure.
Yeah. It sucks that we're all trying to win our flex to the point that all of our starting rosters suck in the other parts of the draft, which is fucking hilarious. But Brandon mentions here, he gives a super chat. What's up, guys?
Appreciate
Home
that.
draft Saturday. Got picks 1 and 4 overall.
Wow.
PPR, 1 quarterback. How do you have 1 and 4?
You have an easy answer here, by the way, right?
Yeah. 2 running
Given the
back, 2
format?
wide receiver, 1 flex. Should I go JJ and Hill, JJ and Bijan to start? It's a shallow league format, so I'm going JJ and Bijan for sure. If it was, potentially like the format that we're in, where it's like 3 wide receiver, 2 flex, I might have gone with Jefferson and Hill there to get those advantages. But I'll take Bijan there
for sure. Yeah, no, I completely agree. In a shallower league format, obviously 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Give me the advantage there at running back. Like Bijan Robinson is, in our opinion, the only running back with legendary upside, 25 plus PPR point per game upside. So get him there, get the balance, get 2 elite anchors. JJ, is going to be a stud at the wide receiver position. Give me the potential running back 1 overall, which both me and Corey have ranked there. So I like that. There was 1 wide receiver I was praying to the gods made it back, and he's a little bit listed lower in terms of sleeper ADP, but I absolutely love the outlook of Nico Collins, so I will take him here at the 10-12. In a wide receiver piss boy room, I was just hoping he made it back. Honest to God, I thought one of you would take him, so I'm happy he fell. Now, I could go with Tua, A-Rich, one of those guys here, 6-point passing touchdown. I got to debate one of them, or I got to debate because all of you have quarterbacks, whether one would make it back. It's a little bit sketch to be able to do that, though, not going to lie, knowing that some people will probably start taking backups at some point. But if there's a running back worth the pick, I would probably do it if there's a clear tier break. But honestly, there's nobody really jumping out of my eye. So I will lock down Tua Tagovailoa, 6-point passing touchdowns. Obviously, we expect that offense to be very good. Mike McDaniel in town. And I mean, if Tua Tagovailoa is playing 17 games, I think he can threaten for 30, 35 passing touchdowns. So I will take that at the 11-1, which I'm not the biggest Tua guy, but 11-1 I think is a proper value in a 6-point format.
Yeah, that's not a bad option there. I have no idea which direction I'm going in with my next pick. I'm going to keep it a buck here. I think reasonably, I probably should take Anthony Richardson, just knowing that he might be a potential trade chip for me because, I'm betting so heavily on the Colts, but I don't like drafting players strictly to trade them. Like, I think it's like poor process. And especially, you guys all know my fucking tendencies. Like, I'm going to just be trying to trade the guys. So it makes pretty much 0 sense for me to do that. If I was playing in a league where like it was a bunch of randos that had no idea, what my strategy was, I would probably do that, but you guys know me too well. So I'm going to grab an upside swing at wide receiver here. And then I'm probably going to finish off at that position because I don't love the rest of the position after this.
Yeah.
Jonathan Mingo has been a starting receiver for the Carolina Panthers in 3 wide receiver sets and 2 wide receiver sets in the preseason. You guys know how much I love Bryce Young. I mean, if Bryce Young is that guy, and he could be as early as his rookie season, I will snap up some Jonathan Mingo here. So let's boot these 2 fellas out of the chat here. Let's get Nagrin back in. We got a Dalton Kincaid pick. I probably wouldn't have gone with him, but he definitely would have made some sense for my team.
Yep.
We're at the point in the draft where I'm just swinging for some upside. Same tendencies as you. Like, let's just draft, and if we can always trade him if he hits. I mean, he's running literally like a receiver for the Bills right now, and I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you look at how they drafted. Just the AFC East, they need to compete. They need to fill that spot. Sadly, Gabe Davis isn't really filling that wide receiver 2 role. They draft him pretty high. I mean, I just got to bet on it. And I mean, to see Kincaid fall to you with Josh Allen would have been tough. So it kind of like made me feel a little bit better that I potentially might be sniping you, even though like you probably weren't going to go him anyways. So I felt kind of
Well,
good.
for what it's worth, had I known that Kincaid was going to fall to the 10-9, I probably don't go with Freiermuth at the 9-4. But then again, like the board where I was picking Freiermuth, it's not like I like passed on any screaming values at wide receiver or running back. I probably, if I didn't take Freiermuth, would have taken Brian Robinson. And like realistically, am I getting a huge value Brian Robinson there? Like not totally, especially knowing he's my RB4 on my team. So I thought the difference between Freiermuth and then potentially missing out on Kincaid, and then I would have been really fucked because if Kincaid would have went, I would have been Dalton Schultz, Cole Kmet type of tight end. And that is an area like I'm just not okay with unless I have a guy like Kincaid already on my roster.
I look at the guys drafting at 10 and 11 don't have tight ends, and I feel like he's like the tight end 12 probably for the league. So I don't want to hold them hostage, but I just might. I can always trade with them.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, like worst case scenario, if they take a guy at, let's just say 11-11 or 11-10 that you're eyeing, you can always get an extra bit of value knowing that the tight end position is something that they need in their starting lineup. So I don't mind that. Also, I wouldn't have been completely against in Bush's position taking Kincaid regardless, because Freiermuth is like the last or maybe the start of the tight ends where I don't mind taking a tight end too. Like if I have a guy like Andrews, Hawkinson, Kittle, whatever, like I'm probably not taking a tight end too. So knowing inherently that Bush with Freiermuth could be looking at Kincaid, potentially creating leverage later on, I don't mind that theory, especially given the running back and wide receiver board we're staring down the barrel of right now.
Yeah, I think he has top 6 upside potentially. So at this point, we're just taking swings. I mean, at this point, I filled my roster looking at it. These are all people that could potentially, go over the moon and put me in a good position. You guys talked about the late round receivers hitting. I mean, if Kincaid, he's basically a receiver, same thing with Kyle Pitts. Yeah. So just swinging for the fences with this team.
I dig it.
Yeah, those two guys especially. I mean, people kind of balk at the archetypes like, oh, big wide receivers, not really, inline blocking tight ends. Just because it hasn't really happened for Kyle Pitts doesn't mean it's not going to. It just because we haven't seen a massive rookie season out of a tight end doesn't mean that Kincaid's projection is not still very strong. If he is at least, if we get 75-80% of the routes for Dalton Kincaid, I would be stunned if he's not a top 8 tight end, to be honest, because he was an older prospect. He should acclimate a little bit faster than like, a 21-year-old prospect. And I think Kincaid, if he's working with mostly the first team offense in 11 personnel, which is the real question, and we did see a little bit of that in the preseason game last week, then he realistically could be one of the biggest values in all of fantasy. And we will all feel stupid if that happens, right? We're gonna be like, we didn't draft the Buffalo Bills first round pass catcher, like because he was a tight end. We were just like, oh, we don't like tight ends early on in their career. We don't draft them. But like if they drafted a wide receiver at 26th overall or whatever it was, we would all be drafting him in the 7th round.
Yeah, it's one of those things that the Bills, if they want to win the Super Bowl, they got to go through the Chiefs. And right now, they just have to outscore them. So anybody they're drafting moving forward, it's just like, we're getting you the ball. Like, we got to score more. That's all it comes down to.
Exactly. If you're looking at it from the Bills' perspective, like they know 95% of the NFL they can pretty much outscore or flat out beat on a game-to-game basis. But once you start dealing with the Cincinnatis, the KCs, the Jacksonvilles of that conference, you need another weapon outside of Diggs. Because let's be honest, I mean, I hate to bring the Cowboys into everything, but it's kind of the Cowboys theory where if you have one wide receiver that could really threaten a defense, the defense is going to key on them. And we saw that in the Niners-Cowboys game where once Tony Pollard got hurt, CeeDee Lamb was completely bracketed. That could be an issue that the Bills face once they reach the AFC divisional, the AFC championship, potentially the Super Bowl, where if they don't have any other wide receiver that can create separation, guess what? Teams are just going to start bracketing Diggs and the offense isn't going to be able to function.
For what it's worth, they already do bracket Diggs. He's the highest rated double coverage receiver, according to Matt Harmon, in reception perception. He's one of the only receivers that the phrase, oh, he's going to get double covered a lot actually applies to. People always throw that narrative around about, number one receivers that have no one else to throw to. It's funny because some people they'll hate a receiver because they have other talented receivers on their team. They'll be like, oh, Lamb isn't going to be as good this year because Cooks and Gallup are going to take away targets, or Amari Cooper isn't going to be as good this year because Elijah Moore and Donovan Peoples-Jones and David Njoku are going to take targets. And then they're alone in their offense, and they're like, well, he's just going to get double covered every single play. It's like you can't have it both ways. It's like either a good thing that they're alone in their offense or it's a bad thing. I tend to think that it's better when they have more talented receivers. As long as they're the most talented, it doesn't matter. And Ridley's a perfect example. I think it's great that Christian Kirk and Zay Jones can play and Evan Ingram can play, but it also is a good thing that Ridley's the best receiver on that team.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of the complex where you don't want like an elite wide receiver because you don't want the potential target competition there. Like, obviously, of course, in addition to the wide receiver one, but if they're like a good wide receiver, like a Christian Kirk, or even applying to Dallas, like a Brandon Cooks, that can alleviate the pressure of the number one without completely demolishing their target share, because Diggs and Lamb hypothetically are good enough players to command their own targets in their own right. Having other facets of the offense will open up more opportunities for potentially more advantageous looks. So I do agree there.
Yeah. So what do you think of Tom there? You go with hook 'em horns, baby. Roshan Johnson, Cole Kmet.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I had Roshan in my queue, so hate that. But
Man, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry in advance. It was a little bit like, I have a hero RB, so I'm really trying to just fill the 2 RBs. So, it's either going to be a Dalvin Cook, McKinnon game. If those 2 don't hit later in the season, I think is when he will hit. So that's why I took him over the other players. I had, I think Mostert's still good value on the board technically. He's not, maybe JT lands there, but that's kind of why I scooped him up. And then Kmet,
I dig it.
Kmet literally could be the second target. I think he will be on the offense. So, at that point, I was glad Chig went to Brian. Okay. I was thrilled.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to take Kmet for sure. So, personally, I just like Kmet. I mean, they also just paid him, so they're going to use him to some degree and design him into it. Maybe that's a bet I'm taking, but yeah, that's just kind of my 2 cents there.
I dig it. By the way, quick note, Sloppy does says who drafted Hunter Renfrow. He's currently still available for if you were wondering. So I just wanted to search that for you.
Yeah. Renfro's a guy that I love later on in drafts in this type of format too, where you could like get a spot start out of him. I don't think he's terrible, but in any kind of shallow league format, obviously you're not drafting him. I do like him in best ball too. At what point are you over invested in an offense? For example, Davis, Cook, Kincaid, and Josh Allen. I mean, if it's a great offense, I don't think you ever that question I don't think ever comes into play. Like I don't think anybody would have complained about having Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Miles Sanders last year. Realistically, nobody would have cared. So if it's a great offense, I don't think you can. If you're drafting Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Rashad White, then yeah, you can be over-invested in an offense. But Josh Allen, I have Gabe Davis on my team right now. I would have just taken Damian Harris if he had fallen to me. That's who I had next to my queue. But of course, Slat Squatch decided to cuck my ass. So
Brock sniped me too. It's all good. Darnell Mooney at the 12-8 is fucking awesome. Wow. Quick note, by the way, too. I also got sniped heavily on both Kendre and Raheem Mostert. So, yeah, the great picks for both of you guys there.
I think do I have to take Anthony Richardson here?
No, you don't. You absolutely don't.
You want
no, definitely not.
I mean, I thought he was a shoo-in for Brock, so I didn't think he'd make it this far. You don't have to take.
I feel like I got to take him at this point.
You got Josh Allen, bro. You made the bet on
him.
I know I have Josh Allen, but
you're good.
But I could potentially use Anthony Richardson and Cortland Sutton to like get a slightly better receiver later. Like I'm not going to get good value on it because everybody fiends receivers in this league. But
you're loaded at quarterback, man.
Don't worry about it, brother.
Fuck, Negrin's going to take him anyways.
We'll take him if he doesn't take him. I'm taking him if he doesn't take him.
Fuck, man. I'm literally screwed no matter what happens here.
No, I'm taking him. He's the most talented player and the highest ceiling on the board. There's nobody else on the board that actually matters.
That's tough.
I mean, on the bright side, like
I'm a buffoon league mate. I just drafted a second quarterback because I have Josh Allen. You guys are making me break my own rules.
I couldn't get Gabe Davis, so I'm getting Gabe Davis 2.0.
Jalen Hyatt, I dig it. That's not a bad pick there. I mean, their starting receivers right now are Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton, and Paris Campbell. I think Jalen Hyatt, if he's any good, should be able to beat out some of those guys.
Yeah, the wide receiver board is fucking disgusting. Oh my god,
it's gross.
We got drafting like accountants and lawyers.
Bro, we got Justin Ross. You know how gross
Literal
it is.
Water boys.
Wait, real talk. You know what's gross when the second option or the first actually option rated because one just went is fucking Justin Ross. So that's disgusting. I hate you guys for making me do this, but the fact that I have to go super high T right now and go Ezekiel Elliott and I have to, man, and Jeff Wilson. I have to here. Like, what are you
I knew
doing?
the Zeke pick was coming. Jeff Wilson, I'm a little pissed didn't fall back to me. I probably should have taken him where I took.
I would have taken him.
What else
he was my other like option that I was debating.
I was taking Jeff Wilson this next pick.
Fuck, man. Oh man, the wide receivers are so pissed that I had to take 2 shit running backs. Like,
yeah.
Oh god. There are wide receivers you're like, yeah, Brock, you are a sicko. I love it though.
Oh my god.
Yeah, facts. Chance hyping up the high pick, so you love to see that.
Good. I actually, honest to God, I didn't even take that into account when I selected Gabe Davis, the big play bonuses, but that definitely applies to him. He's good for 3 90-yard touchdowns a year.
Yeah.
Hey, it may just apply to the knucklehead. You got to give him a little bit of credit.
Did you draft Kadarius Toney at the 9-1? What the hell is wrong with you?
Look at the wide receiver board. What was I gonna do?
Take a running back.
Yeah, I mean, I got
the next pick, dude. Why'd you take Kadarius Toney?
Brother, fucking, I didn't want to go behind the. To be fair, if I knew Nico and like one of the other wide receivers would have fallen, sure, like Gallup. But I mean, looking at the board, I didn't think fucking 7 running backs would go off the board in 9 picks or whatever the fuck that is. Like,
honestly, dude, when you're in a league like this, the whole like I want to start 5 receivers every week philosophy, you kind of have to let go of it a little bit because it's just simply not possible when we're all thinking it. We're all thinking it.
We're all thinking it.
5 receivers every single week. So
Jeff Wilson
I mean,
might
some of us
start
are going to have to start running backs at our flex.
Dude, like Jeff Wilson might be in my flex week 1, in all honesty, depending on A-Chain's fucking shoulder.
Dude, like, DeAndre Swift might be one of my flex options every single week.
Fuck, for real. I mean, he's your RB3. You're going to have to catch up a couple more in these last
I honestly think that was one of my better picks. It's like the only pick I actually feel good about. And I never really liked drafting DeAndre Swift typically.
On the bright side, at least Isaiah Pacheco plays against the fucking Lions on that Thursday night football game. So I can count on at least a good game that game.
Yeah, man, that's true.
And I got knucklehead.
I'm hoping the Grin takes one of the 2 guys I'm deciding between because I don't want to have to make the decision.
I wouldn't even know who you were even talking about because this is so gross. I'd rather just like pick up waivers at this point. Like this is so hard to me to like attach myself to any of these people.
Oh God, it is so fucking disgusting, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, I keep saying when you're looking for food in the fridge and you keep lowering your standards until you finally find something you might eat. That's how I feel when I keep going through all these tabs of players that are left.
Brock, you are a sicko for saying in the private chat so many steals left. Like, shut up. Like, God, if we can pull him in here, fuck. Brock,
that's
man,
the most disgusting statement I've read all day.
I mean,
Kareem
you're picking
Hunt,
in a pick,
not even on a roster.
Yo, that's how you know it's
what? Oh no, I got some coming up. I'll explain it when as long as Bush doesn't take him.
Oh, imagine not drafting the Cincinnati Bengals starting running back until the 13th round.
That's
just kidding.
Pick,
he's not the starting running back, and he definitely probably won't be without a Joe Mixon injury. But Joe Mixon is bad and washed and might get injured. So give me Chase Brown here at the 13-4. He's a decent value.
I dig
it.
I dig him.
But you know what I'm thinking here? Who what type of receivers traditionally worked well with Deshaun Watson? He usually likes to target his deep threat. He loves to throw the ball down the field. I'm taking DPJ.
I knew it.
All day.
You fucking. I mean, for what it's worth, both or all 3 of Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper, and him have basically been treated like the clear top 3 on that team. So for what it's worth, if you're getting, potential 2 wide receiver set exposure with DPJ on the outside there with Deshaun Watson, like 13th round, you could fucking do way worse than that.
Yeah,
right. Like
Tank Dell's also a good value on the board. I'm going to say it because I don't want to have to draft another Indianapolis Colt, but I would have taken Josh Downs if I didn't already have the entire Colts roster on my team. So
if I didn't have Jeff Wilson there, Ezekiel, we don't have to talk about. Please don't bring him up ever again. But if I didn't have to take Jeff Wilson there, I definitely would have taken Josh Downs. But the running backs, I kind of just trusted more at this point, and I'll take my lotto shot at 14-12, which is basically the first waiver priority.
The perpetual RB39 in my weekly rankings every single week, Ezekiel Elliott.
Real. All right. He'll have a couple games like where he plays like the fucking.
He's gonna score 6 rushing touchdowns this year and be like
you won't know when they
best ball win rate of 12% because of it.
Oh, 100%. And you won't know when those fucking touchdowns are coming, which makes it even more gross. Like If you were to tell me going into this draft that my running back core would be fucking Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Isaiah Pacheco, Ezekiel Elliott, and Jeff Wilson, I would have thrown up. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, we got Hoves on the hopper here. Raheem Mostert, I wanted him to slide back to me. I'm quite pissed that you actually drafted him. So what are you thinking here?
Oh man, I don't know. I truly don't know what I want to go with. I had KJ Osborne next up, but I got sniped.
Yeah.
So
my advice would be take a rookie wide receiver, whichever one you like.
Probably,
Tank Dell,
yeah.
Marvin Mims, Josh Downs. I think those are the only guys worth a shit at this point in the draft. You're going to take any receiver this late in the draft, you're best shooting for a rookie, or else you're going to probably regret the pick.
Because for what it's worth, when you're debating rookies versus vets, you would typically want a vet with a set in stone role, but none of those basically exist at that point. So you may as well bank on that second half of the season upside.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Russell Wilson.
Let's go. Oh, dude, Mims is a fucking awesome pick at that point. Holy shit. 13-8.
I probably don't take Sutton I'd rather have Mims at the 13-8 than Sutton at the 10-9, to be honest.
I would rather have Mims at the
Broncos Nation, let's ride.
I'd rather have Mims at the 12-12 than Zeke at the 12-12.
Why did you take Zeke, dude? Sounds like you're regretting this pick heavily.
I didn't know Mims was there. I'm not going to lie. But all jokes aside, though, I do think like he's still a veteran running back, and Bill Belichick, like I'm just kind of hoping at some point, like if Ramondre even has some type of lingering issue, that Ezekiel Elliott will get trusted just because of that veteran leadership. It's kind of, hopium at this point, but given the board, I just didn't know what else to pick, to be honest. So I did end up taking the plunge. And for what it's worth, I do have a meme-worthy pick there with Ezekiel Elliott because I could do something with my team name with him.
Yeah, well, Danny thinks way too hard about his team names and then comes up with the most basic team names of all time. He's like, bro, I've been thinking for 6 years about this team name. Guess what I came up with? CD's nuts.
No. Okay,
everybody has that as their team name.
Hobbs, listen to this. It was because I had Joe Burrow and CeeDee Lamb.
He added Burrow to CD's nuts, and now it's unique.
You know what burrowing is, right? It's like digging a deep hole.
Yeah.
So CD's nuts burrowing is my name, and I went on Canva and edited 2 nuts on a football field with CD and Burrow's face on it. Like you have to give me some credit.
You committed to that. You committed.
Hey,
I'll give you a credit as due.
Spent like 20 minutes making that edit. You got to give me some slack. Cut me some slack.
Last year I drafted Barkley, and after I think it was I don't know if it was week 1 or week 2 he went off. I changed my name to Sagot Goatley, and that's all I said all year. And my teammates hated me, and I won the league.
I'm just happy for you that you didn't name your thing like Quadzilla or Quadfather or something. Because I swear to God, every fucking person in my leagues, anytime they draft Saquon Barkley, will just name their name some type of variation of quad something. It's so.
I'm just calling myself Romanian deadlift.
Bro, for real.
In my league last year, there's 2 twins in my league, and we all watch games at their place usually. And every time they had a fantasy player playing, they would say, let him eat, let him eat, let him eat, every time they would get the ball. So I had Breece Hall last year. So every time he would score, or because there was a stretch of games where he broke off a long touchdown for 3 straight weeks. So I would yell, let him Breece, let him Breece, let him Breece. And I changed my team name to Let Him Breece, and then he got injured the week later. So that was dope.
Yeah, that's some karma for you right there.
Don't put the names as a running back. It's a curse.
Salma bin Madden. What the fuck, man?
Tom's at a point in the draft where you're taking water boys,
bro. For
yeah, I'm actually. I know you took 2 quarterbacks. I'm taking Geno Smith here.
Oh, no way, bro. They're the one quarterback I at least wanted exposure to at this spot.
Yeah, if we look at just passing touchdowns, he was behind Burrow last year. And if he is legitimate and Burrow has an issue, even if it's for my bye week, I know I'm going to smash that value. So, I mean, at this point, I'm not starting. No one's cracking my starting lineup here. So I'll take that bet.
Bro, given the flex player freaking board right now, I absolutely don't blame you taking a shot on a quarterback that could potentially threaten for 30 touchdowns again. I mean, for what it's worth, he threw 30 touchdowns last year. I understand there's some volatility there because it's the only season he's ever done that. But if he throws 30 touchdowns again and you got that at the 13-11, I don't even care at that point if you have Joe fucking Burrow. You have a player that can legitimately enter your lineup, even if it's not bye weeks. You're never realistically going to bench Burrow for Geno. But keep in mind, too, because you made the bet on Burrow, at this point, we don't exactly know the full thing in terms of the calf injury. So getting insurance at the 13-11, you could do much worse.
Yeah, there's actually a chance you might have to play, Gino, if Burrow comes back too early, like Danny just said, with the calf injury, maybe he's out for a couple games after like week 2, he re-aggravates it, or I don't think he's any risk of missing week 1, but maybe he re-aggravates it early in the season and you're, glad you drafted Gino for 3 spot starts or whatever.
Yeah. And then Higbee, just PPR.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
We don't need to say more than that, in my opinion.
For what it's worth,
I probably would have gone Dulcich, given that you already kind of had a safe tight end in Cole Kmet. But I mean, at this point in the draft, the tight ends are probably not going to hit at a very high rate anyway. So you might as well just take the guys that could potentially. I mean, the nice thing is that both of those 2 guys could potentially be like the number 2 or 3 on their offenses.
For what it's worth, in my redraft league yesterday, I completely got sniped every other tight end pick I could have possibly made. So I waited till my last 2 rounds, and the duo I was able to get was Sam Laporta and Tyler Higbee, where you mentioned Tyler Higbee, PPR, has that type of consistency. And Sam Laporta, of course, if he is able to develop into that number 2 weapon of that Lions offense, you're getting a little bit of the upside. So I kind of like that pairing to getting some upside, getting some stability. For you, of course, Cole Kmet, we talk about him as a stable tight end, but if the Bears offense does take a step up, he does have an inside track to potentially be that number 2 weapon. So I don't mind that.
Yeah. And speaking of Dulcich, I would have gone Dulcich, but right now, I'm a Denver fan, so I've been following him a little closer.
Let's go.
Troutman, maybe a thing. Sean Payton maybe forcing his hand. He's not a Sean Payton guy. So, I'm not always buying into the narrative, but I mean, he's not even getting first team reps. So that's a concern for me. Not in Dynasty, but like in redraft.
Yeah, for sure.
I think given that you already had Kmet, I probably still would have taken the risk, knowing that even if Troutman does start out kind of splitting snaps, I think Dulcich is a good enough player and a much better one than Troutman, to the point that he at least could, as the season goes along, start to work as the number 1 guy. But we're splitting hairs at this point in the draft. I'm pissed because Tajay went off the board. That's who I was hoping would fall back to me, because I almost took him in my last pick, knowing that I passed on Derrick Henry for Jonathan Taylor. I was like, hey, taking Tajay Spears later on in the draft might not be a bad idea. But
quick note, by the way, Cream Pie, I can't believe I just said that, by the way. We're 2 hours deep in the stream. I'm a couple rum and cokes deep. You gotta give me some lenience, but I agree with you completely. I really like, if you are punting the tight end position, the guys I like are Luke Musgrave, Jake Ferguson, potentially paired with a safer guy like Tyler Higbee. Yep. If you're going to wait at tight end, you can do much worse than pairing, again, a safer guy with somebody with upside like Jake Ferguson or Luke Musgrave. So I do think those guys potentially present some value.
Luke Musgrave, Jake Ferguson doesn't have upside, dude. His ceiling's like the 4th best target on the team.
I mean, Dalton Schultz is a worse player, in my opinion. And
Brandon Cooks and Michael Gallup and Tony Pollard are not going to get out-targeted by Jake Ferguson.
No, I agree, but I do think if frickin' Dalton Schultz, who couldn't separate worth anything, was able to command 100 targets on that team, I think Jake Ferguson on 80 with maybe 5-6 touchdowns could be a worse option at the 14th round pick.
Maybe. I view him as like his absolute ceiling is a streamer best ball guy. I don't think you'd ever feel comfortable if he was your starting tight end. That's kind of why I think Musgrave has some like legitimate upside to at least be the number 2 or 3 on his team. I don't think Ferguson really has any upside to do that.
No way, Slat Squatch, you asshole, man. My whole plan was, okay, I have limited upside with Tua. I'm going to get Kyler, put him on my IR, and then pick up somebody on waivers. And you just completely ruined that, Slat Squatch. So thank you.
Brock decides to not let me get the entire Indianapolis Colts starting offense, and Alec Pierce goes off the board. Do I take Josh Downs, though, is the question, because Josh Downs is still on the board. I'm not going to do it. I already made the bet on Pittman. I think that kind of inherently makes the bet against Downs, even though if Richardson smashes, I think they'd probably have room for multiple receivers. I don't think it's likely that Richardson's good enough to support 2 pass catchers. So I think I'll probably just pass on that. I'm probably between 2 guys, one of whom is a Dallas Cowboy. I might screw Danny over here with Deuce Vaughn. And then Chuba Hubbard is probably my other guy. Given that I'm pretty strong at running back already, because I have Bijan, Taylor, and Swift as my top 3 guys, I don't really need any like production pieces. I'm going to just take the upside swing on Chuba Hubbard. He's run all of the snaps since Sanders has been out for preseason games. It's pretty clear to me that if anything were to happen to Miles Sanders, he's like the clear next guy up. So I'll take Chuba Hubbard there at the 14-9.
Not fun, man. You couldn't snipe me on my Canadian boy like that, but you did.
Yeah, we got Negrin back on the clock here. What are you thinking here? You going to draft another player that's not on an NFL roster or what?
So I decided my new team name is Kareem Pie after that guy left the
go.
comments. So that was great.
Kareem Pie or what?
My thought process is if JT gets traded, Kareem Hunt would be like, I feel the next person to get signed. That running back room is disgustingly bad. And worst comes to worst, I just drop them. This one is really going to be a swing for the fences. They don't have a receiver over 5'8", so I'll take Michael Wilson.
No way. That's actually the receiver I would have taken too. Like
Danny wanted everybody, guys. Every player that gets picked was going to be on Danny's team. So
I'll give you a look into my plan for what it's worth. I mean, we already talked about on stream and video before that Michael Wilson's been working into 2 wide receiver stats, and they have legitimate midgets on that team. So are we really going to?
Your whole team is short, and then you drafted the guy who's in a short receiver core that's tall.
Yeah, literally though. But yeah, I wanted either Michael Wilson or Kyler Murray, and both of them went. So that's great. Am I gonna have to take Aaron fucking Rodgers? Are you guys gonna make me do that?
I was just typing that. I was.
Okay.
Oh,
I guess not.
Shady
I guess
is
fucking not.
Choosing violence, bro. Shady is choosing violence. I need
no-
to know how many
Guys.
times Shady sniped one of us, man. Because holy shit, this guy is like the Ridley pick, the Smith pick, the Williams pick, the Watson pick, the Javonte pick. Like he is just ripping us a new one throughout this draft. Herbert, I was hoping fell back to me at the 9-4 as well.
Real quick, you guys are fucking psychopaths for having Dalton Schultz, Greg Dulcich, and Daniel Jones fucking undrafted. But God, the thing is, if I had a clear wide receiver here that
I would take Daniel Jones, bro. Just stream matchups between those two quarterbacks.
Well, I was thinking Daniel Jones or Jared Goff, but my decision would have been made easier if I had a stacking option here. But I'm not taking fucking Sam Howell or Brock Purdy or fucking Baker Mayfield, so that idea is moot. I could go with a wide receiver, maybe a guy like Isaiah. Oh no, Josh Downs made it back. I'm gonna take Josh Downs, so I'm gonna end my draft.
Mr. Irrelevant, Josh Downs. Love to see it.
Go.
I actually, it's funny that Dark Side Rob says CH is Mr. Irrelevant. I actually almost took him with he was my next player on my board. If Hubbard was gone, I would have taken CEH legitimately. So
I don't mind.
I'm gonna go over my team. Danny can go over his team. We'll go over everybody that's in the call here. We'll go over Tom's team and Brock's team and Hull's team as well. Or Hope's team, sorry. And then we can wrap this thing up. I think somebody else said that they wanted their team. A chance that he wanted his team broken down. So I go with the classic double hero RB. Don't panic. Hammer the wide receiver avalanche and wait on it a little bit. But Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Taylor and Josh Allen hopefully are the engines of my squad. If those guys can carry me, which I think I can, I don't need DJ Moore, Tyler Lockett, Michael Pittman, Gabe Davis to compete with Shady Sands as wide receiver core because they're just frankly not going to. He has too good of a core. There's no point in me trying to chase teams like that are going to have great wide receiver cores when I can take the value at running back and quarterback like I did there. And then, later on in the draft, had I known that Swift was going to fall back, like I'm really even more pissed that Higgins didn't fall to me at 3-4 because had Higgins fell to me, then I could have built out a little bit more of a stronger core and had Swift as my RB2 and went with a hero RB. But I like the team. I mean, I got an advantage at quarterback. I got one of the last tight ends that I actually believe in with Pat Freiermuth. And I don't mind my depth. I mean, Sutton's a little bit of like a double condom depth piece, but in this format where you can start up to 5 wide receivers, I don't mind drafting one guy like Sutton or Beckham or Michael Thomas or Cooks or somebody that's like you could throw him into your lineup and you could do worse kind of thing. And then same goes with Mingo. He's more of an upside swing. Richardson, more of an upside swing, probably a trade chip most likely for me at some point. Chase Brown and Chuba Hubbard kind of just swings for the fences there. Danny, you can go over your team and then we'll kind of go through each other team in the call here.
Yeah, just quick note, my thoughts on your team quick. If you're going to go with a double hero, I do love how you structured this team. So great work there. I'll get into my team. Obviously, Jefferson, no-brainer, 101. Like, I understand the rushing bonus. Like, some people may prefer honest to God, I can't make any case for McCaffrey. It's Justin Jefferson, 3 wide receivers, 2 flexes. You should not overthink that. Andrews and Jacobs at the 2-12-3-1 would have taken a quarterback if one had fallen back 100%. So shout out Negrin, Bush, and of course Brian going with the quarterbacks because I definitely would have taken one there. Wanted at least one positional advantage, and I do think Mark Andrews is a guy I really like his projection for. So especially with what we think on this Baltimore offense. 3-1 is really the contentious spot because if a guy like Calvin Ridley had fallen back to me, I absolutely would have taken him. But unfortunately, of course, like you said, Shady Sands, does go with him at the 2-11. So for me, it kind of came down to the fact that I just can't trust the projection of Devontae Smith and T. Higgins over a guy with a 0.25 first down bonus that Josh Jacobs represents. You already showed the graphic in our draft earlier that Josh Jacobs literally led the position in terms of rushing first downs, and it wasn't even close. So had to bite the bullet, had to make a hero RB, and of course had to catch up at wide receiver from then on. Like you see, 3 straight wide receivers: Terry McLaurin, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Evans. Don't really like the overall upside of them. I think they project more as wide receiver 2-3s, but given the room we're in, I definitely had to catch up on the 8 ball, and I do think Jefferson, McLaurin, Ayuk, and Evans gives me a pretty strong 4 stack there. End up scooping up the value on Aaron Jones. I just think 7-1 is pretty egregious. It's where I have him ranked, but it's where nobody else will get him in their drafts. He's going in the 4th, 5th in 95% of the drafts. So I do think at the 7-1, I will get a share at that cost. Isaiah Pacheco, same type of situation where I have him more so as a 7-8 turn pick. So get him at the 8-12, get exposure to that good offense. I don't mind taking there. And finally, I'll just quickly wrap up these last guys. Kadarius Toney didn't want to fall behind in the wide receiver avalanche, wanted to be deep at that position. So wide receiver 5, he still has upside. I do prefer from a pure market lean standpoint. I got like Sky Moore, but he went at the 7-9. So if I have to basically take the same bet as Sky Moore, but getting him at the 9-1, I don't mind taking there. Nico Collins is a guy that I'm extremely high on. I think he has the upside to be a 20-25+% target share, clear number 1 on that Houston team, on a team that could potentially work from a lot of negative game scripts. So don't mind scooping that 10-12. 11-1, Tua Tagovailoa. You could make the case for Anthony Richardson, but given the 6-point passing touchdowns, wanted that 30-35 passing touchdown ceiling that I do think Tua has in that Mike McDaniel offense. And then finally, the last 3 picks, Ezekiel Elliott, veteran guy, high leverage handcuff. Not a big fan there. I'm not really going to talk much more about that. And Jeff Wilson could potentially get running back starting snaps, assuming Devon A-Chain, of course, is still dealing with that shoulder injury entering the season. Finally, Mr. Irrelevant himself, Josh Downs, just a really good player, projects to be the starting slot wide receiver on that Colts offense. Apparently has already beaten out Isaiah McKenzie. I understand that he's probably not going to work in 2 wide receiver sets with Michael Pittman and with Alec Pierce being there. But if he can be that automatic slot wide receiver for a rookie quarterback, develop that rapport with Anthony Richardson, I think at the 14-12, you can go much worse than that.
Yeah, he's more of a best ball guy for me, if I'm being honest. Sure. I think it's probably difficult. He's good in managed leagues. I do really love Josh Downs' profile, but I love him in best ball a lot more just because it's hard to know when you're going to start a guy like that, the third, wide receiver in terms of routes and that kind of.
Yep. No, I get it. Zeke Elliott, not much more to say there. Yeah, that's exactly my thoughts there, Alago. Yeah. So who wants to go through their team next? Who would be? I mean, Negrin's next in the order, so I'll just let him take it away.
Yeah, actually, let's go through Negrin's team, and then we'll kind of rip through the end there. So, I mean, first of all, we can kind of talk about what we think of the team. I mean, I hate that you took Tyreek over me because now I'm going to be just overexposed on Bijan. He's already like my highest rostered running back in underdog drafts. So I guess I'm just going to draft him in every fucking redraft league that I'm in as well. But I love the Hurts, Higgins, Watson, JSN, a lot of big play upside with those guys. Kyle Pitts, same thing. And then for a 0 RB, I actually really love what you did. James Cook, Rashad White, Zach Charbonnet as your top 3 running backs there. And then Juju and Hyatt, I guess, are just kind of depth. And then Kincaid was an upside swing, like you said. Anything stick out to you there, Negrin? Are you kind of on the same page?
Kind of on the same page. I mean, with the first 3 picks, it was just like establishing my floor and trying to compete, have the positional advantage at Hurts. I mean, looking after Higgins, I don't think I would take any of those running backs ahead of him. And then at that point, I kind of just realized I'm going to have to punt the position. I already got my quarterback advantage. By Pitts to follow me in the 5th, that's arguably one of the lowest I've seen him in a lot of the drafts I've been in, especially even just like best ball. I mean, I could potentially have the QB1 and tight end 1. And at that point, it was just kind of like full PPR, big play potential. I mean, James Cook, Rashad White could take it to the house, 90 yards, any play, and just hope for the best. Like I said, first 3 was 4. Everything else just kind of swing for the fences. We play to win, not to not lose.
I might have gone with a little bit more running back depth, if I'm being honest. Yeah. I think instead of Juju or maybe Hyatt, I might have gone with like, Jeff Wilson. I guess Warren would have been off the board there, I think, right?
Probably with Jeff Wilson.
After. Yeah, that was the one thing I regret. I was telling my friend, like, Juju was the one pick. Like, as a Patriots fan, I even talked about in the chat, I don't want to reach on Patriots players, but I was like, that was the one. I wanted to get one kind of piece of a Patriots team. Jalen Warren, once I clicked to Juju, I did not see Jalen Warren, and I beat myself up for it.
Well, yeah. On the bright side, real quick,
Jeff Wilson in the 12-10 where you took Hyatt probably would have made a lot of sense there to get yourself, because James Cook, Rashad White are young running backs. You never know how they're going to start out the season. I think Jeff Wilson's probably guaranteed a role early on in the year. It would have made some sense.
Real quick though, on the bright side, you mentioned like you're not the biggest fan of the GG pick. At the same time, though, you do have both Smith dashes on your team, so I'm assuming some type of team name with that construct could be happening.
Yeah, we'll table the Kareem one for now.
Oh, that's true. Oh, right, Kareem High. Oh, Kareem Pie. My fault.
We'll look.
Let's go. And who would be the next in here? It would be well, Brock's actually in here, so we'll get Brock in here. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I mean it's pretty much just a classic double hero. Just kind of how the board fell to me. I don't love Olave there. I feel like the one thing I'm missing is that true wide receiver one, but I saw Kittle there, decided, you know what, it's a good idea to bet on the Niners offense twice, even in a managed league. Then from here, I was going for receivers that I think are in a good offense or receivers that are just talented. Christian Kirk in a good offense. I think he's a decent player. Deontay, we already know he's a target monster. He's not going to score 0 touchdowns again. I think him going in the 6th round's a pretty great value. Dotson is sort of the upside second-year breakout, and then I hate having James Conner on my team, but I just thought the volume was just too good there. That's someone I think I can throw into my flex probably in week 1, depending on how I feel about Sam Howell and his second career start putting Jahan Dotson in. A.J. Dillon, we know he'll score some touchdowns. He has a lot of contingent upside if Aaron Jones gets hurt. Kirk Cousins, sorry, Danny, but I mean, he had 28 touchdowns and 4,500 yards last year with Adam Thielen as his wide receiver too. Justin Jefferson still in his prime. He's just as good as he might even be better next year than he was last year. And they added Jordan Addison and they have TJ Hawkinson for another year. It's his second year in that scheme, and we know quarterbacks tend to do better in their second year. I thought that was a great pick. And then for some reason, you guys were shitting on the board later, and this is my favorite part of the draft. Michael Gallup could easily, I think, maybe Danny would disagree, be a 2A along with Brandon Cooks as a 2B in that Cowboys offense. Second year off the ACL, I think I'm getting the discount because of that. Darnell Mooney, Justin Fields breaks out, contingent upside there. DPJ, all it takes is Deshaun Watson being his normal self, and he's someone you can throw in as a flex. And then Alec Pierce plays in Shane Steichen's offense, which is known to be pretty much the number one offense at throwing 20-plus yards down the field, and he's going to have a very valuable role with the quarterback who, although inaccurate, we know can throw the ball 20-plus yards down the field pretty well. And so the only thing I think I'm really missing is I wish I had a better wide receiver than Chris Olave. And some of the running backs late I would have liked to get, but they kind of just didn't follow me how I wanted, and I was fine with those receivers.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, the Mooney pick, I'm really like the 4 picks. I think before I took Richardson, I was hella annoyed with Mostert, Miller, Harris, and Mooney going off the board. I really wanted one of those guys, and they all went right before my pick. Mooney, I mean, realistically, I don't think it's outrageous to suggest that Mooney could be the 1B to DJ Moore. Like the target share difference between DJ Moore's career highs and Darnell Mooney's career highs are not that different. It's like 27% to 25%. So Darnell Mooney, if he's like a 23% target share guy, and the Bears do pass the ball much more than they did last year, which was like one of the lowest numbers in NFL history, then we're talking about a guy that could have some realistic wide receiver 3 value that you got in the 12th round. So that's my favorite pick, I think, that you made there.
Yeah. No, I really like that as well. I was praying he had fallen back to me, but hearing the sentiment, of course, on Corey, it probably would have been 12-9 as his floor. So
yeah,
I do appreciate
you took that from Corey for sure.
Yeah, I mean, maybe to be fair, maybe I would have gone Anthony Richardson instead of Zeke, so I could have saved myself that. But
Danny just hates the Zeke pick. And also, Jared, we will add the I forgot to add the IR slot before the draft, but he took Wandale, so I'm assuming that's why he wants the IR slot. And whoever took Kyler there, slot squatch probably makes some sense there. Let's go to Hove's team. What do you got here?
Yeah, we're here. Honestly, took some turning points in my draft that I didn't want before entering to the draft, but things happen. Always gonna be happy with Cup. I think the whole injury thing in the preseason, everybody kind of just, I don't know, they took it too deep. Cup gonna do Cup things. He's the triple crown king for a reason. So I'm very happy with my first pick. Pollard, stud. Jameer Gibbs just a bet on good offense. Now here, Amari Cooper, I'm not the happiest with him, but I think I wanted to pick him over Judy. And I don't know, I don't know. I think I'm happy with Cooper. Hopkins, not my favorite pick. I don't know. I just went with him. I saw him on the board. I thought I got him pretty late, so we went with him. Now this is where I get mad at myself because I was looking at Ingram, and I as soon as I saw T-Law get picked up, I knew I was gonna get Ingram. So I tunnel vision on Goddard, and I didn't really want him. I didn't notice Deontay Johnson. I would have been much happier with him and probably got a better value in the later rounds with, I don't know, something like Kincaid or Pat. But we made it work. Moved to QJ. Happy with him. I think he has high upside. If maybe if he's a stud that he's going to be, could maybe win the league. Get him as a good starter. Dak was mostly just a pick against Danny. Didn't want him getting that. No, I'm just messing with you.
No, that would have been. I will just tell you right now, if I had gotten Dak Prescott instead of where I took Kadarius Toney in particular, like if I had Dak Prescott at the 9-1 and instead of Tua, I had maybe Jonathan Mingo or even Gallup to make the stack, definitely would have preferred that. So appreciate you, not really, but appreciate you sniping me there.
Just keeping you honest. And then Penny with Swift, the guy hasn't had a complete season his whole career. I don't know, it was like 13 or 15 games or something his rookie season, and that's about it. So I don't know, maybe Penny could come take over with a couple of Swift injuries. And Thielen, he's going to be a number one option. Bryce Young is going to cook, so we'll get him
Bryce
going.
Young is going to cook. That's fact.
Amen.
Yeah.
And
then Zay Jones. Yeah. Zay Jones. Good offense. Let's see what happens. Mostert, he's a starter right now. I think he'll be number one back.
Yeah, I honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if it's either Mostert or Wilson for 80% of the season. Like I'm not really super high on Devon Achane. I think the only thesis of taking Devon Achane is in Best Ball Mania 4, where it's a massive tournament and you need a lot of points and breakout players and that kind of thing. But honestly, in managed leagues, I don't want anything to do with him. I'm a little annoyed actually that he got a shoulder injury because now he's going to slide in ADP, because if he didn't have a shoulder injury, people were going to take him in like the 9th, 10th round, and that was going to push different players down to the board to me. But I much prefer Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson to Devon Achane at this point in time. I love the Mims pick too. I think Mims and Zay Jones really good depth picks that you made there, and even Thielen too. Like, it's gross, but like, would it shock any of us if Adam Thielen was like wide receiver 31 in points per game on the back of like 110 targets? Probably not.
Agreed. Especially on like 7 to 9 touchdowns.
Hey, maybe he'll catch some bombs. You never know.
Yeah,
we'll have that.
I mean, I don't know if he can run more than a 4.7 at this point in his career, but
red zone.
I took Mingo for the same reason. Like I took Mingo as the upside play because I think if Bryce Young cooks, you get Mingo, Chark, and Thielen are going to be the starting 3 receivers and 3 receiver sets. So it's really all about, and if Mingo doesn't hit, which I mean his profile wasn't great coming out of college, it's probably going to be one of Thielen or Chark that absorbs most of the work there. So let's close it out here with Tom's team, and then we'll quickly rattle off Chan's at the end there. Danny, if you want to go highlight Tom's team there at the end, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, we got a good cowboy for you there.
Amen. Let's hear it.
Okay, I'll do it. Yeah, no worries. So we got CeeDee Lamb, just again taking value. I didn't know who was going to fall first round. Went Nick Chubb in the second. As you guys know, we're doing the first down points, but really, if he has any sort of receiving work, he could be, a total smash pick to me. Came back and took Burrow. I took Burrow because I didn't think he would fall, but to be honest, I would have taken Keenan Allen regardless of wide receiver, so I wasn't taking Metcalf. And then came back, and honestly, Godwin kind of fell to me. And at this point, I had Mike Evans in the queue as well. I was going to go Evans, Addison. So Godwin was just there, to be honest. And not that I'm high on Tampa Bay, let's be clear, but just the value for receivers. Like Evans is just committed to getting his target, getting, 1,000-yard receiving over and over again, getting that record. Godwin, I think, is typically the pricier option, but I got him at the discount.
I'm jealous of your offenses that your receivers play for.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at my receivers, the offenses that they play for, you got the Cowboys, the Chargers. Other than the Bucks, I mean, you got the Vikings, the Ravens, and the Browns. Like I'm quite confident that all of your offenses that you invested in are going to be top 15 offenses in scoring, and I'm not quite confident in my offenses outside of Seattle, really, and Buffalo that I invested in at wide receiver.
Yeah. And then Addison was really on the format. I was debating Waller at that pick, but Waller, I got sniped on that. So just because I think Waller's going to have a good season. Addison was the Minnesota Vikings defense is garbage. So they're going to have to throw the ball. And I think Addison will eventually win out Hawkinson for the second role, especially over the second half of the season. So took a bet on there. And again, taking some upside swings, honestly, in 6, 7, and 8. 7 came back and was like, okay, what could be the nuts to break the team? And, if Zay Flowers hits as the second and they are more pass heavy, to me, that would be great. And again, we got, I want to start 5 receivers every week. So then again, picked Elijah Moore, also faded Amari Cooper earlier. That's why I went with Allen, just to make sure, because we got to start 3. I'm really starting 5. So really making sure I lock down the flex in case Addison or Flowers takes either longer to develop, Addison in that case, and Flowers may not hit at all. And then was also in contention with Dalvin Cook, scooping him up. I know he's a nasty boy, depending who you talk to, but Dalvin Cook is just gonna. I think he has the role, and he's going to get some kind of timeshare, whether it's a 30 to 40% split. Aaron Rodgers is also throwing to folks, so I think it's a good. And Nathaniel Hackett, I hate him, being a Denver fan, but I think he really loves working the 2 RB system, like he did back in Green Bay, and then McKinnon. Pretty obvious there. Honestly, that's probably the most obvious pick in my whole draft. Just, Patrick Mahomes, PPR. Kmet was also in contention and then scooped him back up. Was just honestly just punted tight end altogether. Didn't think I would score Kmet. So I was digging deep. So I was happy about that. And then, Johnson, again, what would be the best case for my RB2? Because assuming Chubb stays healthy, there's no way I'm taking him out of my lineup. There's no way I'm taking the wide receivers out, most likely, under really any scenario. So this is just kind of a longer term play, definitely a hold, probably for the whole season. If it gets to week 10, probably he may be a cut. And then Geno Smith, I never take a second quarterback, but honestly, this was just too good a value being in a 6-point passing touchdown league, to be honest. Burrow could have an issue for, his injury. I'm not betting on that, obviously, because I bet on him to be good this year. I think it's just kind of like cap your downside, make sure I win the first couple weeks and into the playoffs. And really that was kind of why I did Higby there. I know it was the conservative, but I just need to make sure I get some good wins for the playoffs here.
Yeah, I mean, you can always, a 6-point per passing touchdown. Geno Smith is as good as he was last year.
Yeah.
You could maybe take Geno Smith plus Jerick McKinnon and get up to an underperforming Rashad White, or get up to an underperforming Isaiah Pacheco or James Conner or Miles Sanders or something like that to maybe solidify your RB2 position a little bit stronger. When you're at this point in the draft, I mean, some people are going to get injured, right? Like if 2 or 3 quarterbacks go down the first 3 weeks of the season, last year, Dak Prescott, Trey Lance managers were scrambling to find quarterbacks. I'm sure there's going to be a couple guys going down early on in the season next year. Unfortunately, it's just the reality of football. So Geno Smith is nice to have in the back pocket. It's kind of the same reason I took Richardson as well, is because I already made the bet on the Colts offense. I know Richardson has a lot of upside, and I don't ever anticipate taking Josh Allen out of my lineup, but I could potentially use him in like a package deal to upgrade if somebody needs a QB.
Yeah. No, I dig it for sure. Quick note too on the Dalvin 9/11. Like we usually see him. Like for example, Dung Beetle says here, I've seen Dalvin go in the 3rd round. Absolutely not in this room, but at the 9/11, like it kind of gets to a point where even if I don't believe in his standalone ability, because I just don't think he's a very good like player at this point. Even if you're just comparing him to like handcuffs in this range, like pure handcuffs, him versus like even some of the running backs in this range. I think
Elijah Mitchell, Rashad Penny, Tank Bigsby, Brian Robinson, I guess,
very
isn't a
comparable.
Jamal Williams, too. Like Dalvin Cook is one of the few guys here that's proven that he can command a big workload. So, I mean, at the very least, you're talking about a guy that if Breece were to suffer any kind of setback mid-season like J.K. Dobbins did last year and misses 6 games or whatever, Dalvin Cook should be able to hold down the fort. And that's exactly why the Jets went and signed the guy.
Well, it's a thesis of why I took Zeke, only you can make the argument that Zeke is completely washed, where although we're lower on Dalvin's talent comparative to where he was at his peak, like he's still a functional, usable running back for a team, especially a team we project to take such a step with Aaron Rodgers, with, of course, Garrett Wilson entering that 2nd season. So at the 9/11, I mean, I think you could do much worse than Dalvin Cook, and that's from a staunch Dalvin Cook hater.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. And I think this kind of, I drafted really knowing the room I was in. So, I knew I was actually going to get some RB value in this, late zone. So I made sure to, reach aggressively for wide receivers, because I knew it was going to be, I didn't want to be in your position, Bush. I know not to hate, but, you were in that issue. So,
yeah.
Cook 'em.
Realistically, I might have considered, like, going back, you could have really made the argument for me to go. Stephon Diggs was my next highest rated receiver. For me, it's just I couldn't do it with Bijan McCaffrey. I can't.
It's the brand, bro. It's the brand at this point.
Well, it's not just the brand. I think that Bijan and McCaffrey too both represent a higher ceiling than Stephon Diggs as potential league-winning running backs, especially now in this format where you get points for first downs. McCaffrey obviously contributes a lot through the air. Bijan Robinson's just so freaking talented that he could probably get 100 first downs based on a pure ability.
Yeah.
For me, even though Stephon Diggs makes sense as the pick because you don't want to fall behind at wide receiver, knowing what the room is going to be, and especially knowing, too, I could have gotten Josh Allen the second round to stack up with Stephon Diggs. That actually would have made a lot of sense for my team, but I got to stick with the brand, bro. We live by the sword.
Amen.
We die by the sword. If Bijan Robinson sucks this year, I don't want to hear anybody in the comments saying, I can't believe you told me to draft Bijan Robinson, because I will be feeling it just as much as you.
Well, dude, he's probably like I'm scared to check my exposures to him on Underdog after my slow drafts are done because
he's going to be over 20% for me. He was 17%
easily over 20
before I started my slow drafts.
Dude, easily over 20. Like I think I'm scared he might be nearing close to 25% highest overall player. And anytime a first round player is your highest roster player on Underdog, it's a little bit sketch if the downside case risk. But of course, I'm always going to take that shot on a legendary upside running back. So I don't fault you at all. I mean, he's both of our he's your fourth or third overall player because he's
my fourth overall player technically. Yeah. But I'm probably like in my home, that's fourth overall player with no rushing first down and receiving first down bonuses. But because this league and my home league have first down bonuses for running backs, I would take him third overall in those formats. Also, for what it's worth, Sam Howell, 19 of 25 tonight, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 123.4 quarterback rating. And Terry McLaurin was ruled out for tonight's game with a toe injury. X-rays were negative, but hopefully Danny's little 412 there that he just drafted didn't actually get injured. So we are going to
real quick. What's the payout for this league?
Just a $50 buy-in. It's nothing too crazy. We're not going
first second
all out.
Like first second, I think he's referring to. I believe it's what 450, 150. What did the vote end up being? I
think the vote ended up being first, and first place gets 9 buy-ins, second place gets 3 buy-ins. I think is what the vote
450. 150.
I could be wrong about that. I actually haven't looked.
So that would be
you're right. It's 9 and 3.
Yep. Perfect.
It's 9 and 3. Yeah. So yeah, the first place gets, what is that? Like you said, 450 or whatever. And then second place gets 150. So yeah, just a classic, love Tom's team. Yeah. I like Tom's team as well. I really wish I picked midpoint, later part in the draft. Really quick, no analysis. Just say your favorite team, Danny. My favorite team, I think right now looking at it is Shady Sands, just because of the receiver value he was able to get up there, and then all the running backs that he was able to backfill with made a lot of sense to me.
I mean, it's easy to say Shady Sands considering the fact that we're wide receiver piss boys, and you literally started off 4 in a row, especially with guys that are literally brand FSC guys: Jamar Chase, Calvin Ridley, Devontae Smith, and Mike Williams. Mostly Calvin Ridley and Mike Williams, given the takes that we've made. But yeah, no, I think he's definitely up there. I honestly
I like Slapwatch's team quite a bit too, minus the Madison. And I mean, like Sanders was a nice value there. I think I would have gone with a wide receiver where you went with Madison, but I like the value on ETN, Walker, Herbert, AJ Brown, and Diggs were both good picks there. And Njoku is a good pick. I really like that team also.
Yeah, no, I do agree with Brandon to a certain point too. I really like what Tom was able to do. Honestly, like just looking down the board, the only maybe gripe I would have taken, I guess you got sniped on Darren Waller, so you kind of got boned at tight end, but I probably would have preferred a tight end, but realistically, looking at the board, there was really no
just
spot
never lined up.
That's the thing, right? So
you would have had to take Freiermuth and Njoku at 8-2 if you wanted a tight end there.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe you make the case, like, well, I mean, given the wide receiver board, I don't even blame you for taking God. I was gonna say maybe you can take the case for making Darren Waller the 5'11" pick, but given the context of the board, once you were making that pick, you couldn't have known that. No wide receiver would have went on that turn from your perspective. So, I mean, yeah, I do think given your spot, if I was picking at 111, like I told you, even when you made those 3 of the first 4 picks, that CeeDee Lamb, Joe Burrow were literally on my home league team in the same type of 3 wide receiver, 2 flex format. So you can't go much wrong.
And then to be honest, go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
I was going to say, you could even make a case. You could sell me on I should have taken Mike Evans instead of Godwin, to be honest. Because we have 40-point bonuses.
That's fair.
And if I'm betting on a deep ball and Baker, okay, not that I would. I know that's disgusting, but I'm just saying I could see it.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
Because nobody asked, I'm going to give the analysis that nobody wants to hear. Baker Mayfield's actually a perfect fit for the offense that they brought in. It is like get your quarterback on the move, which is what Baker Mayfield did best at Oklahoma. I know he's a fucking piss quarterback, but actually he might actually succeed or have a chance of succeeding in this offense. It's a relatively good offensive line. It's good receivers that he's, that are reliable, that are not like, even though he's had good receivers in the past, the guys in Cleveland were like disgruntled all the time, and it seemed like they never got on the same page together. Godwin and Evans are consummate professionals. They're not going to be, divas if their quarterback's not playing well. So I think they're actually the type of receivers that Baker Mayfield might actually, be pretty good for, because they put up with Jameis Winston, right? Like Jameis Winston was turning the ball over constantly, and you ask Mike Evans and Chris Godwin in an interview, gun to their head, like, would they like Jameis Winston as their quarterback? And they're gonna ride for their guy. So I definitely appreciate about those two guys as a Bucs fan.
Yeah, no, 100%. Real quick, Chan says, "Do your worst." I guess he wants a little.
Other than Kamara, dude, I actually love your team.
I was just gonna say that too. Other than Kamara sticks out like a sore thumb. Like 3-game suspension, declining efficiency last year. I personally would prefer a guy like J.K. Dobbins there for the upside, or even like I don't want. I mean, I don't even want to toot my own horn, but if you're going to go with a veteran running back there, like give me Aaron Jones, who's shown he could still be an elite efficiency running back in the NFL. I understand like it's not the greatest projectable offense there in Green Bay because we don't exactly know what Jordan Love's going to look like, but I still know, at least at this point, yes, he's older, but I know based off last season that Aaron Jones could still put up elite efficiency. So for me personally,
I know he's better than Kamara too, based on what we've seen from last year. I know he's a better running back than Kamara. I personally would have gone with Dameon Pierce or J.K. Dobbins if you go running back there, or you go with Deontay Johnson or something, knowing that, Akers was a good first running back in a 0 RB, Brian Robinson, Algier, Gainwell. I probably would have hammered out maybe one more running back later on in the draft, but not a bad team. I really like the Garrett Wilson Amon-Ra start. I really like the Lamar Jackson Metcalf turn as well. Yep. And I think you got pretty good value on Waller, Cooks, and Myers too. So I really do actually like Chan's team. It's really just the Kamara pick that I have a problem with. And if you had gone Dameon Pierce or J.K. Dobbins there, I wouldn't have a problem with this team at all.
And then the other thing I would say is maybe you want some type of correlation with Lamar Jackson because you make the bet on him, but it's not like you're going to take Bateman over Cooks at that 8-1 spot. So you really didn't have an opportunity to be able to do so. Obviously, Mark Andrews would have been long gone. Zay Flowers went a pick before you. And again, the projectability of Brandon Cooks versus Rashad Bateman. Like I like Bateman as a upside potential breakout pick, but like Brandon Cooks,
maybe you go Beckham instead of Myers if you want that
would be the only thing.
That would have been the only spot that you really had an opportunity to do that. But yeah, I think he did a pretty good job. So closing in just before the 2.5-hour mark.
One more.
Jared says, "Okay, what do you think of the 7 slot?" Okay, last one, and then we'll wrap this thing up here. We got Travis Kelce with the first pick. Sketchy to do this in a piss boy room with all the wide receivers going off the board. But I still think you were okay at wide receiver relatively, considering that you went strong at quarterback and you went strong at tight end. With Fields and Kelce, you have those positional advantages. Again, if the wide receiver value isn't falling to you, you kind of have to get better in other areas. You're not going to beat the Shady Sands of the world with his, elite wide receiver core. So getting Waddle and Judy as your top 2 guys, Pickens, Bateman have some upside. I probably would have grabbed a safer guy later on instead of like A-Chain. Maybe the Zay Jones pick would have made some sense, or like, somebody that could have given you some flex appeal. Darnell Mooney, maybe instead of Kendre Miller, would have made some sense. But I really like the Stevenson, Dobbins anchors. And other than just lack of wide receivers, I would have drafted more of them. I think you got pretty good value at most of your picks.
There's one micro player gripe. Obviously, of course, we're talking more so from a macro structure because at the end of the day, you guys are all going to prefer some players over others comparatively. Like we're going to prefer some guys. You guys are going to prefer some guys. However, I do think that taking Jalen Waddle over AJ Brown is a little sketch in my opinion, simply because of the projection of AJ Brown. We know exactly what he's going to be able to do from a volume perspective. With Jalen Waddle, I do have some question marks overall with what his volume ceiling is there. Of course, with Tyreek Hill in the fold, I guess you can make the argument that Devontae Smith is a very talented player in his own right, but as good as Devontae Smith is, he is not Tyreek Hill. So I personally would have taken AJ Brown, but again, I understand big play bonuses. Jalen Waddle, probably one of the 3 players in the league that on any given touch. I mean, I mentioned this when I was talking about Negrin's team, but like Tyreek Hill, where on any single target in a game, he can completely change the complexion of your game. If he catches a 40-yard touchdown, then guess what? Your matchup is flipped on his head.
He's going to catch like 5 this year, probably, most likely, knowing that offense and knowing what Jalen Waddle can do. So let's get this one down before the 2.5-hour mark. Again, appreciate you guys for sticking around. If you guys have been here since the beginning, make sure you leave a like. Appreciate you guys obviously contributing to the stream.
Appreciate you guys.
Tom, Hoves, who else was in here? Nagrin, Brock. Brian was briefly in here. The running back testosterone truther himself.
Dan.
By the way, his team actually didn't turn out too bad, considering he went mainly running backs the whole time. I think between the receivers he has, he could probably piece together some wide receiver production. Hopefully you can make a trade at some point. Maybe get Damian Pierce or Mixon or somebody off your roster and go after a stable wide receiver. But definitely a pretty solid draft, fellas. Really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, make sure if you guys want help in your own drafts, hopefully there's some wide receiver value left by the time you pick, unlike this draft. If you do want some help in your draft, of course, get our draft guide for free by depositing $10 over on Underdog Fantasy using the promo code FSE. And if you already have an Underdog account, or if you're in Ontario or an ineligible state, you can get it on our site, flockfantasy.com/FSE as well. So with that being said, peace out, guys. We'll talk to you soon.